1, and we are live. It's 33, burning. Not like room temperature. It's not sizzling either or boiling. There's a difference. We burn.
It's,
You
it's
burn.
not it's not 33 hot take questions. It's 33 burning questions.
Yeah, that's precisely correct. If you're joining on a simulcast link through Rosales Comics, hi, that's my name, Chillmonger. I talk about YouTube stuff and MCU. Bry Wood, hello. Let's start with the question. You guys hear? Is the microphone working on this? Like, you hear this?
Yep.
No, it is.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Hear it.
Okay. You know what else I could have done? I could have also done this, and I would have known. All right, cool. We're ready to go.
Chill isn't the only one with sound effects.
See, yeah, if we're gonna play this game,
But given that it's a stupid ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
I'm gonna let that one pass.
I just wanted to make sure that it could be heard. That's all. I wasn't sure if it was coming through or not.
The first question: since the hardcores are gonna show up anyway, would you just drop the advertising budget for these movies?
Yeah, it's gotten to the point now where they can reduce their advertising by at least half, and it wouldn't make a difference.
You see, like there's always gonna be a difference in hardcores and casuals. The casual audience, you kind of gotta sell them on these. That's what the trailers are for, and that's why at the Super Bowl it's important to have your movie show up and have some sort of representation. And during the NBA Finals, there's a little ticker saying "Guardians out in movies now." But like, people are gonna show up for these no matter what. Ant-Man, Wakanda, whatever. No matter what happens in the plot, there's just a built-in audience who are gonna show up. So then I'm just saying, like, just drop the advertising budget, guys. Just face it, your money that you're gonna make, you're guaranteed to make $450 million, as Ant-Man taught us. So knowing that, don't even worry about the advertising that much. Like, advertise a little bit, let people know, a few million here and there. But when we're talking about that $200 million to add, no, you don't need to. Your movies are not that big.
I gotta disagree because, for one thing, you have to earn back the money. So when you have a movie that starts off in the hundred millions before you even shoot anything because of the talent involved and the people in the background, your writers and whatnot. I apologize for the noises coming in the background. You definitely have to make sure that the casuals, if that's what you're going to call them, show up so that you breach the 200 million mark altogether. Ant-Man, this final one with the Quantumania, I think is barely seeing a return. It's not doing the kind of money that will push them over. And this is reflected in the fact that you have them cutting back movies, you have them cutting back streaming channel stuff, the titles are being pushed back or they're being eliminated altogether. The release schedules are all changing. They're consolidating their channels from Hulu and Disney coming together. There are financial woes left and right. So you definitely, at least like Felicity says, you got to target the advertising better so that you get that kind of return.
But at the same time, the thing is that these type of movies, especially with like you take Avengers, the Avengers movie, you take Infinity War, you take Endgame. Those were event movies. So they wanted to do a lot of advertising to go, everybody's going to want to see this. You want to do that too. The thing is, they're doing that type of advertising for every movie. Like they're spending that type of money for the first Ant-Man movie. They're spending that type of movie for, Shang-Chi. And it's like, you don't need to make every MCU movie. You don't need to make every DC movie this event movie, and you have to spend, so much of an advertising. That's why I think that they can reduce for like regular, like for Blade, if and when Blade ever comes out, it doesn't need to have a $300 million advertising budget. It really doesn't. because
back to the targeting. Target that movie to people who were into the Wesley Snipes Blade. Find them. I don't know how you're gonna find them.
that's
Those
what I'm
niggas
saying.
psychics.
At this point, they got no way to do that. This
Yeah.
this whole film is like development hell situation with
Yeah.
Blade.
I just use bait as an example, but I'm just saying, you target the advertising better. Well, how much of a percentage goes to social media? How much of a percentage goes to YouTube ads? How much of a percentage goes to commercials? Like, it used to be a lot easier because it was only really 2 or 3 outlets for advertising. Now you got to take into consideration social media, and that could easily eat 25% of an advertising budget, and you don't even know if it's even useful.
That's the thing, though. Like, if someone really likes your movie, like a fan, like a regular guy, or even a celebrity, and they want to make a reference to your movie, that's advertising right there. If you make a good movie, dude, that social media stuff will just breed itself. Some TikToker will make the Blade challenge, or let's say we should use the Guardians challenge. The Guardians challenge, where you save a raccoon or something, or some gimmick like that will advertise itself. The word of mouth power is so underrated, and a lot of times the social media stuff, because the advertising budget guys, they're not the kids who grew up on social media. They're the older heads who don't really get it. Some people do. Respect to like the Mark Cubans of the world. Every time I hear him talk on Shark Tank, he seems to be on the ball when it comes to social media. But there's just a gap between social media people who use it and get it. Sort of like the school system. If you ask me, you should actually be too old to be a president of a school board, and I think that age should be at 50. 50 years old, you're way too old. I don't need. Yeah, it is a topic for a different day. But like, I feel adamant about that. I just feel like the social media stuff is misaimed.
The thing with the social media is that advertisers and movie produce and studios learn their lessons from Snakes on a Plane, because on Snakes on a Plane, on social media, they were going, "Oh my God, this movie should make tons of money." Even though it was incredibly popular on social media and everybody was talking about it, and everybody was memeing, everybody was doing videos, nobody went to go see the movie because it was just popular on social media, but not popular enough to have them to go. And that bit, and
different
that
age though. That was like that Facebook age.
but a lot of advertisers still use that as a reference. That they go, social media is not social media is a fad, but it's not reliable.
It's Morbin time.
It's Morbin time.
Yeah, it's Morbin time.
Well, it's
That's a great example.
Yeah.
But did anybody
it's not that
have legs? No.
it's not that hard to on the internet. It's not that hard for them to advertise because you just got to play into the people. The problem is you use Morbius for an example. The people marketing clearly did not know, or the studio did not know how to market. And I say this: look at when they re-released the film. They thought people really wanted to see the movie again. They was that dumb. They thought people was like, "Yay, they want to see it again. Let's release it yet again." If they didn't come see it the first release, why would you release it again and think, "Oh, they really want to"?
Because now it got momentum. Now it's being talked about. Now all of a sudden everybody, but they totally misread that. Totally misread.
Yeah. It's like when we found out in the previous regime of Warner Brothers before Zazav came in. It was reported that they some of them didn't know that Krypton blew up. They wanted Superman to go revisit Krypton, and the executives they don't like. It's like, no, Krypton's like, it's destroyed. You can't go, because they wanted Superman to revisit Krypton at some point. It was destroyed. So,
welcome to the people making your comic book movies, ladies and gentlemen. Chill, there's no volume.
I bet some reason was like it was to be an allegory of like when an immigrant returns home. Let's use that story. Yeah. Let's go to Krypton. Yeah, there's no Krypton, guys.
Nah,
Superman's an illegal immigrant.
No, he's a legal immigrant because he does have American parents, and he has been adopted legally. So
he was adopted illegally.
He was adopted illegally. Superman's an illegal immigrant. How about that?
No,
Came
they
to the U.S. illegally. He crossed the
foreign-
borders without papers.
what borders?
The
What
sky border. There's no border above.
Yeah, right. Sorry,
Because
there's
Clark-
no.
Because
No.
unless Jonathan knew some people, or somebody hook him up,
Uh-huh.
technically Clark does not have official adoption papers. He doesn't even have a birth certificate. He doesn't have none of that.
So how does he work at the Daily Planet? How did that fly? Like
I
he
don't
just
know.
he just has a job
Comic-
there? Oh,
comic
even
book stuff.
okay. That's their hiring practices over there, huh?
Like that. That's
He
Yeah,
the
that's
lied
why.
on his resume. How's that? He lied on his resume. Oh my god, because nobody's ever done that.
now you can say this.
Oh, here's
If
what
you're-
happened, guys. Let me tell you what happened. All right. John and Martha had a kid named Clark. Unfortunately, Clark dies really early, and that's the same weekend that Superman arrives from the sky. You know, the U.S. airspace, that's a thing. So that's a border he crossed, and they're just like, boom, you're going to be Clark. No one's going to know.
Okay. The story was that
That's my story.
Clark,
Sticking to it.
the official story was that Clark is basically the son of Martha's sister, and they're just taking care of him.
Really?
That's a lie.
Well,
I mean,
according to the Daily
Of course,
Planet,
it's a lie. I'm
I
not
like
saying it's true.
I like it. We got to protect the Clark.
When a balloon
I mean,
crossed
but-
into our
but,
airspace, we shot it down.
A balloon
that-
crossed.
When a
Back it
balloon
up.
crossed into our airspace, we shot it down.
Yes.
Clark crossed
but when-
into the airspace illegally.
But we didn't
Yeah.
have the technology at that time. Back when
Hold
the
on.
comic was created in 38?
40, 30.
No, I'm right. It is 38.
Yeah,
Come on
30.
now.
Okay.
There were
Hey,
spy
we
balloons
have
back
shot
then.
down. Hey, how come when all the UFOs enter our illegally enter our space, they don't get shot down, huh? How about that? So just use that.
Because
Same
they're running the
logic.
country. They're running the world. They
Okay,
own it
then so
already.
then welcome to Krypton was based. Why do you think Jor-El sent Clark Clark to Earth? Because what we already had domain in that that explains how they fixed the adoption papers. Krypton already had spies and control in the government, and that's how they were able to.
That's a retcon from somebody's living room.
It
Yeah, pretty
truly
much.
is.
Pretty
It literally
much.
is.
They did
Pretty
something.
much.
They
Big bro.
did. They didn't do exactly what you did, but they did something on the lines of that in Smallville. The Kryptonians
really?
didn't run the government, but Jor-El and Superman's mother went to the planet early, and they skipped. They pretty much scoped out the camps because they knew the planet was dying. They was trying to find the right family to take them, so it was already investigating. So they
That makes it better.
tweaked that in Smallville.
Executives are basically gamblers who are practiced BSers. They don't know anything more than the average person and just have better contacts. Yeah, basically. If only there was some wonderful comics you guys could read to learn more about this Superman. I've never heard of the guy. Get out of here. Question number two.
Okay, first of all, Superman is such a boring character. I couldn't imagine reading him.
2. Are any of the Eternals friends with Thor? They've been around for a long time. I'm
No.
sure Thor would have known one of them,
No.
bumping into Earth, all the miraculous things he was doing to the common folk back in the day. He played some pranks. He probably met an Eternal or two. Are any of them friends with Thor? No, but he knows they exist.
After Endgame, I'm not sure if Thor knows anything because he knew about eternity. His hammer could have took them to eternity, so they could have wished. He knew about the other gods. He could have went to ask the other gods for any ideas on how to reverse the snap. I don't know. His knowledge is up and down. One minute he knows stuff, the next minute he doesn't. It's
I don't
like-
know. If anything, I would say, was it Gilgamesh, the one that cooked the food? Yeah. I could see him being friends with Gilgamesh because warrior to warrior, but
But do you think he knew he was an eternal?
no, they wouldn't. I don't see them revealing who they are,
Okay.
except for the one guy.
I
because-
mean, maybe the Thor. I mean, not to the humans for sure, but to Thor, who's an alien.
He's
I
not-
can see the Eternals probably revealing their identities to people that's not of the world.
Okay, we are using the term alien really loosely here. He's an Asgardian. Gods
He's still an
are
alien.
not
He's Thor.
aliens. Oh my
In the
god!
MCU, they're aliens.
If you're not of Earth, you're an alien. You're on another planet. You can travel there. It takes some time, but that's how after Ragnarok they're like, let's stop Earth.
You
because
can't hop a plane and go to Asgard. You have to be invited there. It's a magical whatever.
Hey, in the MCU jaded, they're treated as
Unless the Eternals drank really
aliens.
hard, I don't think Thor knew any of them.
no, it's a unanimous no. The Eternals aren't known for being friendly. They're not known for much. Number 3, which state would Scarlet Witch choose to live in if it were up to her? Would she go back to Ohio where the movie took place? Is she going to California? Does she want to go to Vermont? Because I hear there's some. Never mind, I'm not going to go there. You know where I'm going. But like, there's a lot of things, places she could live in to
He probably
solve a
goes
lot of
to
problems.
maybe like North or South Dakota, someplace quiet, like Midwest, small town that no one really goes to, so she can do her sneaky stuff and do her dumb hacks in private.
How much damage can you really do? How much spy stuff can you do in a small town?
I mean,
You can
well,
spy-
okay.
if she can spy into another dimension, I'm sure she can spy into another state.
Well, okay. If you remember during the Cold War and stuff, there was, the Soviets would send over some, families to live.
Yeah, I remember that. I was looking
So,
up for that.
that's small towns are perfect for that. You send in these people to live in these places, and
Oh, so she would
only
have her
time
little
going
red
to
room. She would have her tack training and things under the
Wait a
radar. Yeah.
The mountain at the end of the mountain, the area that had the not the lair, but
You
at
mean
the
the
end
Black
of
Widow or the
at the-
Scarlet Witch?
at the end of
What did I
at
write?
the end-
Oh, I wrote Scarlet Witch, and I was talking about the Black Widow this whole time.
Oh, because I was going, why wouldn't she just stay where she was at the end of?
But you guys understand why my brain did that, though, right? Because of the name of
No.
the character, the name of the
You
actor,
ready for the
right?
sad trombone again?
Hit me with it.
He
Yeah, that was
skipped
a
the week.
mental
and he loses
malfunction.
everything.
If I'm answering for the sake of like Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, yeah, it was New Jersey. That was where she. That's where for some reason Vision had the deeds to New Jersey. I don't know how he possibly got that. But if she could live in any state, bro, what is a Wanda state?
Washington D.C. Why wouldn't she live in Washington D.C.?
New Jersey.
She doesn't care. She would, yeah, she'd probably stay in New Jersey because that's where the Avengers headquarters is too, or it's upstate New York. That's where she would live. She's like, hey, I'm gonna be with my friends, people who I know. Most of them live in New York City.
Most of them are gone.
But the ones who are alive are New York based. She might hook up with Spider-Man or something. Scarlet Witch,
God, was Spider-
not that way necessarily.
No, I'm just saying she can't because she doesn't remember who Spider-Man is. Remember?
Well, not Peter, but
She
Spider-Man.
knows who Spider-Man is. She don't know who Peter Parker is.
See. The question assumes she would live like it in the USA. She would like it. She doesn't know much, bro. She's not going back to Sokovia. She would choose the most Sokovian state, and New York is a diverse place.
I
Or
put the
Alaska.
Scarlet Witch in Maine and Black Widow in New Mexico.
What's in
I
New
put-
Mexico?
It would
I
be
put-
easier to defend.
I would put Scarlet Witch in the living room with the lead pipe.
This is no good.
Next question 3. Which state? 4. What do you think about Daredevil Born Again getting a second season? I heard the Vincent D'Onofrio saying that they're preparing for a new season of it. Good. They're getting 18 episodes, which I'm happy about. I hope that they're full-length episodes and not that short stuff we got for WandaVision She-Hulk. I hope it's going to be long. But what do you think about the second season, Daredevil Born Again, K-Dot?
Well, it's going to be an 18 episode season, which is a first for Disney Plus in general. Well, for their MCU stuff.
Yeah, don't forget High School Musical, the musical.
Well, okay, since it's going to be 18 episodes, I can see them doing short, regular 30-minute episodes and stuff because it's 18 episodes. They're going to be stretching it out. I mean, getting a second season. I need to watch the first season first. I can't really say like, oh yeah, but I don't know how the first season is. So I can't really
That's fair.
justify it. But most studios do that now anyways. They just greenlight stuff before it's even released because the studio thinks, oh, this first season is going to do great. We know it's going to do great. So let's just go ahead and greenlight the second season.
They
did it
do
for
know
Titan.
that about Daredevil, though. They have a track record with what Netflix did and the audience that had, and he's got a built-in fan base, built-in
But
powers. His
that's
power set
that's
is so TV ready. There's no special effect budget or nothing. You're going to be shooting practically in like real locations that you'll be using over and over. They're going to be in that courtroom a lot of times. Wherever Daredevil's home is, they'll film there a lot of times. It's packed. It's meant for a longer season.
thing is that's Netflix though. I think they're putting Daredevil was not bad in the episode of She-Hulk he came in. He was actually part of the only good episode of that show, but that's Netflix, right? I have no guarantee that the Daredevil Born Again show will even have the same type of grit that the Daredevil Netflix show had.
Yeah, sure you are aggressive. Sure you are.
Because just because you have that specific Daredevil does not mean it's going to be the exact
Even with
same.
the same actor, even with his
Like
performance.
look at Kingpin and Hawkeye, a shell of what the Netflix one was.
Okay, fine.
He got defeated by a sidekick on his first.
No. Say it right. He got He got his ass kicked by a little girl.
A sidekick. I have no issue with him losing to a woman. I have no issue with him losing to a sidekick like that. That was horrible. He lost to a sidekick.
Little girl.
Sidekick.
Where's your signature cigarette?
Oh, relax. We'll get to it.
Will Disney Daredevil be any good? I think so. Rosales, what do you think about the Daredevil Born Again getting a second season?
Well, I think they're hedging their bets. They going on what K-Dot said, you've got a good history and some people that are already coming. We talked once already about the built-in fan base. So they're going to come in here. I don't think that they're going to do half-hour episodes because you can't get that much done in a drama in 30 minutes. So Daredevil being the drama, they're going to have to up the ante a little bit. Then again, you've also got the introduction of the commercial option, which means that anything they do is going to extend past that. So we're probably looking at about a 45-minute episode per episode until you get to the final ones. And then you'll probably get closer to an hour in that. But they will probably make a decision about the second season. I bet it's more like an option than anything else. I don't think it's guaranteed.
Only one says the real question is will Matt do any more Walk of Shames?
Matt,
Pooh Bell is here. What do you think about the second season of Daredevil that Vincent D'Onofrio says will come and it's in development?
I think that he is doing advertising for them. I don't believe that it's in development because we're in the middle of a writer's strike. So I think he's trying to pump people up to, want the second season. We're also possibly going into like a director's strike as well. So, even if it's an idea, I don't know that it's necessarily going to happen anytime soon.
What's the director's strike over? The same stuff?
I have no idea. I mean, it's just, I think what it is that, like every certain amount of years, they have to go back to the union and see if they want to renegotiate certain things that they've already, determined are going to happen. So this writer strike that is going on right now, they knew that this was possibly going to happen. But also we're in a period where a lot of these studios are trying to fire people, like because the economy is getting so bad. So they wanted the writer strike to happen so they could have, an excuse, a ready-made excuse to get rid of dead weight, basically.
How long do they want this strike to go for?
As long as it takes to get rid of the people that they want to fire.
So they could be like comfortable with a good 5-month strike, like the last one lasted that long, I think.
3 months. It lasted about 3 months.
It did?
Yeah, it was from like November 2007 to February of 2008.
So then they can live with that. They'll be like, okay, all the dead weight is gone. So you know what? With Blade, because who mentioned it earlier? Blade, Jadis, you said that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's to the benefit of Blade that it'll be delayed because of this whole writer strike.
why? It's still
Because
going
I'm
to end up as an MCU movie.
Because the movie that comes before Blade, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's Thunderbolts, okay? That film will come out and then we'll have such a long time before Blade happens that it'll feel fresh again. Like, yeah, a Marvel movie. Let's go to the movie theaters.
Well, well,
The actor may die of old age.
He's not that old. Mahershala Ali's what, 51?
he's in his 50s.
Yeah, he's pretty old.
I still feel they should.
I just saw like something on Twitter. Nicholas Holtz, and he's 33, and he's supposed to be in the mix for Superman. And I'm going, nah, he's too old to play Superman. So I think the same thing with Mahershala Ali right now. Too old to start with Blade when you anticipate, yeah, he'll be in sequels, possibly a trilogy if it's successful. Like Marvel Studios is gonna resume, and this guy will be 60 as Blade. Ugh. I wouldn't have had that happen. I wouldn't have kept him.
I think they should have went with somebody in their late 30s for.
Or they should have went with Mahershala Ali in 2019 when you announced him on stage. Then I'd be fine with this. We'd be one movie deep by now.
Did you see the rumors about there was rumors, but the rumors about them putting in his daughter that only debuted last year?
Yeah, I think the daughter debuted in comics because
Literally
of the movie thing. Yeah, they got this weird thing with diversity where they go, it's more important to diversify things within the Black franchise rather than saying we need our top franchises to now include a Black character. They go, no, let's look at the Black franchise and then not focus on Blade, and we'll spread focus on the daughter of Blade, and we're doing two. That's the
feeling. I feel like it's going to be one of those just like kid replacement things.
Uh-huh.
They're trying to set up the Young Avengers and stuff.
And what's the most successful kid replacement thing that's ever happened? Ever, like out of every time they've done replacements, like Batman Beyond, maybe.
Batman Beyond,
but that's not like.
Technically, Kid Flash,
Wally West, yeah.
Wally West, I would have to say would be the most successful because he ended up. But then again, he had decades to actually build up.
But it's back to Barry. Ezra Miller plays Barry Allen.
Well, we never got to Wally yet. That's the thing. So
that's the thing. We never got a Wally.
See, it's coming. They're like,
the only time we had Wally.
We love Ezra. We really just want to be like comic accurate, so we're gonna do Wally West right now.
Well, okay. So
how would you tell the difference?
They had Wally in the Flash show, right? But he never replaced Flash once. They always worked side by side in the show until he got placed on Legends of Tomorrow temporarily.
Uh huh.
So even in the show, he never replaced Barry either as the lead.
Felicity, do you have a little bit of static in the background? I don't know if it's a vacuum or something.
All right, hang on.
Just mute yourself when you're not talking, please. Thank you. Let's see. Aggressive Relax says, take as long as you want, creative people. Give all the simple CEO and accounting jobs to AI, then pass the savings down the job. AI can do art. Man.
Yeah, we need more.
Okay. First of all, if AI did the writing, how would you be able to tell the difference?
Exactly. Ali is getting older, though. How many Blade movies would you get? It's not going to be a trilogy because he's too old and disinterested in the way that they treated the first one. You think he's going to be jazzed up to do a second Blade? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he's like, you know what? Representation is important.
They casted someone because Blade's a immortal character. I don't know why they casted somebody so old.
Mm-hmm. So they could pass it on to his daughter, and then the daughter becomes Blade. That's all. It's not that hard. Same thing with Hawkeye
and T'Challa.
I have a feeling they're going to do that. I'm not going to say they are. It's a rumor.
I'll say they are.
But if they do it,
why else would they have introduced his daughter in the first movie?
May as well have kept Snipes. Oh, Wesley Snipes, yeah.
Right.
In a world with GICK, you're going Wally?
Yeah. Well, because he didn't really replace Batman. That's why.
Yeah, he never really did. But Robin is featured heavily in different Teen Titans stuff. Yes.
I mean, Wally actually replaced Barry because Barry died.
The Kingdom Child says, no, I got a few questions I want to ask. Uh-oh. Feel free to ask. I mean, we don't got to answer it. We will look at that question and then click on another comment if it's stupid or terrible or divisive or, something we don't want to get into. The next question, 30.
Maxwell should have kept Snipes.
What does Hope see in Scott?
I honestly don't know.
Robin.
He was probably just different from the type of guys that she usually goes out with. He wasn't a douche like Yellow Jacket, the guy that ended up being Yellow Jacket.
You see, if Darren wasn't her office mate all those years, there would be no interest for Scott. but that kind of drove her. That's the thing. See, guys, see, like if you're parenting a girl or a son, and you're like not giving something, or you're too much this way, they'll go now seek the opposite in a guy.
He learned some things in prison.
Question number 7. If Infinity War never happened, would Bucky have found peace? Because he was fine in Wakanda before T'Challa came with, the fight has come to you, and then opened a fake arm. He was resolved. I even think he had a little thing with Io back there. So if the
I don't think they would have kept him there.
No, he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
The idea was the idea was he was there until he recovered. He was never meant to stay there.
So he was going to write a novel? Like, what was he
No,
going to
I
do?
figured he was going to leave eventually, but I didn't really expect him to stay in Wakanda.
But I do think that little time of peace he had for, the therapy was probably the best thing he had ever since he almost died in the war and became the Winter Soldier.
But then he needed a new shrink right after in Falcon Winter Soldier. So it shows you the damage of what this whole blip.
That was
thing
more.
did.
That was government ordered. He didn't want the psychiatrist.
But he needed it.
No,
we watched those episodes. He needed it.
Well, he needed it, but he didn't want it. He was forced to take it. That's why he was so resentful and very aggressive in the beginning, and why he kept holding back, because he didn't want to share it. But he goes, "Okay, I'll do this, and I'll have to do this." And
because the biggest thing that bothered me about how people was receiving the Falcon and Winter Soldier when it came to Bucky was like, "Oh, Bucky's still like there's trauma there." But as far as those codes and everything, all that stuff been taken out of his head. So his fear of becoming a Winter Soldier again is like non-existent.
Bucky never had the dream of settling down like Steve did with Peggy. He needed to find a purpose other than fighting.
Are you alluding to a woman though? Because he was willing to go on dates with the sushi restaurant. Was it? Remember that girl?
Oh, the Asian girl.
Yes.
I mean, he didn't have to be. He didn't have to find his peace in another person per se, but he just needed to find something to do with his life.
Something to channel.
Exactly.
I skipped question 5, and it's what would you have renamed Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Jaded Fanboy? Long name. Ant-Man, Wasp, Quantumania. They got a hyphen in there. They got a colon in there. What would you say? What would you call this movie?
I would go Ant-Man and just say something about Kang in the title. It would be like
Dynasty?
Yeah, Ant-Man, Kang Dynasty, just something like that. I mean, just because it's supposed to be about Kang, it's not really about Ant-Man anyway. It's more about or like Ant-Man, the Quantum Realm, because it was more about the Quantum Realm than anything else. So
Ant-Man and the Conqueror.
No,
I like that.
I kind of would have been in there. Ant-Man and the Conqueror. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Most people, but the thing is, nobody would have been able. Most of the people wouldn't have associated the Conqueror with Kang. They wouldn't have
until they see the movie and they go, "Ooh, this!"
And
is
by then it's too late.
They named a character after Kang, and then they'll see again. Oh, they named another character after Kang, and it's an Avengers movie. See, yeah, I like that one. Rosales,
I would have lied.
That would have been cool.
I would have lied to everybody in the title and called it The Death of Ant-Man.
Death of Ant-Man.
Death of Ant-Man.
Well, the end of his IP maybe, but that's about it.
Ant-Man, back to the quantum realm. I don't know. Felicity, which one do you like?
Yeah, just like Disney puts out a Twitter poll. They say, "Should we kill Ant-Man?" Boom, boom, boom. Have them vote.
Uh-huh.
Then you title the movie that, and everybody will go see it just to watch Scott die.
Thanks to a poll.
Look at these suggestions that we have here. Not as bad as everyone made it. Ant-Man and the Wasp SummerSlam. Ant-Man, Kang smashed Janet.
Facts.
Ant-Man and the Wasp Time Heist. If it was a time heist, yes.
If it was a time heist.
But you're keeping the name
heist.
You're keeping the Wasp into the title, and I feel like there's no reason that this wasn't a Wasp film.
Hold on. Ant-Man, The Return of MODOK.
Oh, no. Felicity Poobell, what would you call it?
Uh, I don't know if I really have an idea of this one.
You
I
gotta
mean, it
save
was
it. We have a time machine. Go back in time because it only made 450 million. It's because of the name. So what do we call it, Felicity?
no, it wasn't because of the name. It was because of the story. It was a bad story,
That would depend.
and
No,
you
no,
know, you
we're not
you
accountable for
need
that.
you kneecapped your so-called villain of the next few phases in this movie. He wasn't Kang the Conqueror, he was Kang the Conquered. He got conquered by giant ants and Ant-Man the Wasp. So why do we care about him going forward? It just doesn't make any sense. It was a bad storyline.
Am I right?
You could have just called it Quantumania and just highlighted in different colors the word Ant-Man that is in Quantumania.
That sounds like the Captain Marvel 2 stuff where they called the movie The Marvels. But that you need to have the hero's name in your title. You're not elevating anything when you remove that. You're actually, in fact, you're teaching your audience Ant-Man's not even worthy of having a third movie title. But here's the
He wasn't,
movie.
but he wasn't. The only reason he had the third movie is because he was connected to the quantum realm from his earlier from the second movie.
Tony
So
said,
he was
he said, Ain't Man.
man.
That's the winner right there. What did Big Bro say?
If you
Oh,
had
Jeff
had
Lundgren, yeah.
if you had had Kang actually win at the end of this, you could have called it the Rise of Kang.
Right.
I think that title's been used already.
Use it again if it fits the story.
Star Wars,
Oh,
The Rise of
Kang.
Skywalker, you mean? Why did you say it's been used?
Rise, Rise of the Jedi, Rise of the Machines, Terminator, Rise of the Machines. It's just that title's been used a few times.
Yeah, those movies are long. Whatever. 7. If Infinity War number 8, why do Marvel films have a drop off after opening weekend? Hardcore fans. Next question.
Every movie has a drop off.
But the way that it does though, it's got like a 70% from Sunday to Monday all of a sudden, and it's large. Lately, it's been really large. Why?
No, you just said it. It's because the hardcores come out the first week, and they usually see it multiple times during that week. But yeah, it's basically trackable. It's a trend. That's why it's been more and more evident recently because the quality of the movies has dipped dramatically.
And as you can see from the graph that I'm sharing, that it is exactly the case.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're comparing a day off to a work day. So,
but that's the thing that
so
it's not supposed to be that high. I know there's supposed to be a drop off, Jade Fanboy. But it's common in the industry for it to be 50% or 60% if it's a high, it's a big movie with a big opening.
Yeah.
And that's how they've been doing. If you look at Guardians Volume 2, it won't be 71. I'll pull that up in a second. But lately they've been 71%, which is 10% higher than what you anticipate or what their pattern was.
Due to reviews, I'm sorry. Due to reviews kind of makes a good point there. They've actually trained the audience to expect these things to hit Disney Plus after a certain amount of time. So if you're not that interested in going to see the movie and you know it's going to be on Disney Plus after 45 days, you might as well just wait if you're paying for Disney Plus.
And then here's a kudos to these guys. They don't do it 45 days no more. The Ant-Man Quantumania will come after 90 days. It'll be on Disney Plus. Still too early if you ask me, but it's better than what they were doing at one point in time with that 45-day stuff. Shang-Chi and Eternals was during that 45-day era. Thor: Love and Thunder surprised me when it went 60 days. Wakanda, whatever, they released in November 14, and they came on Black History Month February 1st. I think that's 2.5 months. So is that 55 days? No, I'm off on my math. That's 75 days. So they've been furthering the movies to the Disney Plus. But even if they do further it, let's just say it's 100 days, 200 days. What in the 200 days from Guardians 3 until it releases on Disney Plus, if it's 200 days, where's the urgency? Because the next few movies you do, Captain Marvel 2 is not going to mention Guardians of the Galaxy 3. There's no the Secret Invasion show isn't going to mention Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So yeah, it's nice that there's going to be a larger gap, but make me feel like I'm missing out. I need to know what's happening in Guardians 3 before I watch this Disney Plus show about Ironheart, and you're not doing that.
Well, the other thing about the gap too is that they can actually change that, because the longer that these films stay in the theaters, the more the money actually shifts into the theater's favor and not the studio. So, as the movies keep coming out, as the newer movies keep coming out, they want to get these older movies out so they can fully benefit from the money that they're going to make in those first, second, third weeks. So even though they may start out saying, oh, it's going to be a 90-day window, that can easily change if the theaters are like making a ton of money from keeping that movie in the theater longer, and the studios are making less. So they want to try to shift it back into their favor by maybe moving it to whatever their streaming service is. Unfortunately, Disney Plus, they're not making any money. On these other streaming services, they are probably making a little bit more money.
But don't forget merchandising, though. They've sold
That
toys
ain't
of
doing
Moon Knight.
anything either. They ain't making no money off the merchandising either.
They're not making much. Don't say they're not making any, though. They are making money. They're profiting off of the Ms. Marvels and the Moon Knights and even Kate Bishop Hawkeye. How long was it for Black Widow? Remember, that was the time when they did it for $30 on Disney Plus, so it was the same day. Those were weird circumstances, though, and I don't fault them for that one. And Jada Femme, remember what I told you about? I was going to share my screen to show you the Guardians Volume 2. Actually, that was terrible also. On the Monday, it was minus 74%.
Yeah,
But if Black Panther wasn't that way, if I go to the first Black Panther.
what I was thinking is that another issue is how many screens it's on. Like, because if it's on 5,000 screens,
It's always the same amount. It's always a wide
not
release
always,
on
not all.
4,000.
Not,
It
again,
always is. It's always that much for these Marvel films.
No, it's anywhere between 3,000 to
usually
5,000.
gets the most screens though.
So the problem is if you've got 2,000 more screens that people, because
It's
again, you're
not
spreading it all
2,000
out.
more. I go to this website a lot, and the theaters are always in the 4,000 neighborhood. Maybe
Oh,
like
really? Oh,
nowadays there's 4,500. If I go to a modern movie,
Okay.
look, I'll go to Guardians 3, and I'll just see they're on
Right,
4,400 theaters. That's it.
But I'm just saying is that with all those theaters, the reason there's so much of a drop off is because it's being spread out even more, and there's not the same interest as there was, 5 years ago. So yeah, I'm gonna assume that there's gonna be a drop off.
Excuse
Well,
me.
as an example, if it was in 3,000, if it was only in 3,000 theaters, it would have made less money on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but then the drop off on Monday would have been significantly less because more people are just packing smaller amounts of theaters and not being spread out as much.
One thing people aren't taking into account is the increase in technology over the past 10 years. Higher end cameras are getting cheaper and cheaper, and you can now have a 4K camera on your phone with a greater degree of storage space, and that means that pirating is now more accessible than ever, which means that day one you can have a pirated version of the film all ready to go. So if you don't want to wait for Disney Plus and you don't want to go to the movie theaters because you have a fear of germs or whatever, and you're very, very allergic to spending money, you can pirate it and make a judgment on a film without having to go anywhere or passing the buck to anybody. And these sites come up and go down so fast, so quickly, and those that are in the loop know where to go next.
Yeah.
And that is probably a really good contributor to the drop off.
Facts. Question number 9. Who enjoys being on whose shoulder more, Rocket or Groot? Because it was Baby Groot on Rocket's shoulder. Who do you think likes it more? Rocket's never going to admit it, but he enjoys being on Groot's shoulder. He's so proud of this Groot he got to raise. It's just like the
Well,
last Groot.
no, he just likes being on shoulders because he did it with Bucky in Infinity War, right?
See,
So he
he's
likes
a shoulder.
he likes the elevated position, right? So
That's why he put up with all of Groot's talking trash back when he was growing teenage Groot, so he can get on that shoulder. Yeah.
otherwise he's just shooting out kneecaps, and it's like,
I think Groot misses it. I think you'll remember quote, "I am Groot,"
Oh,
and that there he said it. You know,
I heard the same line. You're right. I saw a funny tweet that said that Vin Diesel had some on behind the scenes drama over his script. Like that was hilarious.
he's lucky he's got a job.
No, he's about to make like $1 billion next weekend. We're gonna have Fast and Furious burning questions. Anyone up for that?
God,
Live chat right now.
seriously? You're gonna make me have to watch that movie?
Live chat, put one if you want a Fast and Furious questions because I love that movie franchise. I love every single one they've ever done. Tokyo Drift, the one where Paul Walker dies at the ending, that Black Panther Wakanda Forever tried to recreate, but it wasn't the same because unlike what happened with Paul Walker, unlike that, like T'Challa and Brian are different because Paul Walker brought Brian to life. There was no Brian before that, so we viewed
45
them.
minutes. 45 minutes before Chill introduced the topic of Black Panther. 45 minutes. I keep track now. I keep track.
I mean,
question
Paul,
was
Brian is in the case where that's his character. It's like, you look at Jason David Frank with playing Tommy the Green Ranger. He was not the first Green Ranger. That's based off a Japanese show, but he's the first Tommy Oliver, the first actor to play that character, and that's his character.
Yeah,
you can recast someone else, but it's not the case with T'Challa.
So K-Dot, Rocket or Groot, who likes it more?
Rocket or Groot, who likes him? Oh, I say Rocket.
He said Rocket.
He's more used to it, and also he's a raccoon too. I mean,
And he had to
Groot.
he finally had to admit to it too.
yeah.
For
I mean,
listening,
it's like in his nature to kind of do it, to jump on stuff and hang around on it. I mean, that's what raccoons do.
Felicity, Rocket likes being on Groot's shoulder, or Groot likes being on Rocket's shoulder.
Oh, Rocket likes being on Groot's shoulder, for real.
We have a consensus. And look, people said 1 in the chat for Fast and Furious, except for Adam, who needs to see Fast and Furious. And then you can even join the stream, Adam. Rocket, that's right. Here we go. You see what had happened was with Brian. Now you see it's different because I gave a perfect explanation.
No,
They
he
didn't kill him
basically.
either. And
no,
there's another difference is that the actor died
agreeing
when
with
parts
you.
of the movie were already filmed. And in this case,
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman dies. They have 2 years until the movie's even supposed to be out yet, and they decided to write themselves into this corner when Fast and Furious, that franchise, were like, "Oh, we have these scenes that have already been made. What do we do?" That there's a big difference, actually. I'm like waiting for Aglax to reply, but I'm not gonna do that. Next question, 10. Rosales, where are your James Gunn's expectations?
I'm going to have to wait and see on that to see exactly what's going on because there's some conflicting things coming out of James Gunn's mouth. For on the one side, he wants to go back to the traditional Superman, and on the other side, he says he wrote the entire Infinity Stone background in a half hour. So. I do believe they were in the comic books before he even took a look at that or anybody asked him about it. So, yeah, I'm going to have to wait and see.
I can see why. A-Dot, where are your James Gunn's expectations, you DC fanboy, you?
I mean, I think he's going to do good. I don't got, the only slight issues I have with James Gunn is just the comedy aspect. But other than that, I really never dislike the guy or his work like that. I may not care about Guardians or love him like that, but
so this movie didn't impress you or go.
No, I like Guardians 3.
So that made you go like, yes, this is the one. Yes,
it wasn't. I mean, I always knew he was like when he did Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad. I thought he can do it. He can pull it off. He's good at action. He's good at making me, having a emotional attachment to a film. And I never really had any issues with his scripts for his movies anyways. I always thought his scripts aren't perfect, but as far as little issues, inconsistencies and stuff, he doesn't really have too many of those in his films. But other issues may have at times is how he power scales characters. For example, like Drax or Groot. So I don't really have that much issue with the guy.
You see,
I
you
think
didn't
he's
watch
gonna be fine.
Jaded Fanboy has issues with the Guardians
Oh,
movie.
I
Yeah,
have issues.
Jaden has issues with
Gunn.
everything.
I have issues with James Gunn.
Oh,
It-
so I
it-
guess
it
this
didn't-
movie didn't impress you or nothing. This didn't leave you like happier for the DC future.
No, I basically made a video warning DC fanboys, you're screwed. I don't know what you guys are thinking.
Felicity, where are your James Gunn's expectations now?
Uh, I think he can handle the technical aspects, but I think that we need to be careful because I think Zaslav needs to make sure that he is watched closely.
Reined in.
Yes, exactly. I think he has let him go wild on Twitter. It's too much. Stop talking and just do the work. That's all I want you to do. So I'm glad he has a co-CEO in Saffron, but I think Zaslav needs to put his foot down and say, look, just do the work, okay? We've got the structure worked out. I just need you to focus on
Creative.
all the details. Yeah. uh you know Look, I really had hope that maybe John Favreau could have directed Superman Legacy instead of Gunn. I think that would have been a better fit, especially since was basically one of the architects of the MCU,
And
and
he
they need
might.
somebody. They
See,
need
because of-
somebody to do that right now in the DCU.
But
So
now with the beef that's going on between Lucasfilm with he and Kathleen Palpatine, if you believe the rumors, he may go like, okay, James Gunn, I'm just gonna do a DC movie over here. I'll wait for Kathleen's contract, this contract, which one day I swear, I promise, it'll be over, it'll expire, and then I'll return to doing some Star Wars stuff. But I got the time. Why spend a 2-year period dealing with this monster who's gonna change my stuff and play with it? I'll return to Star Wars when I'm done. But let me do a DC movie that might, and he's good with Gunn. They're boys, so we can get something out of that.
Yeah, and you see, that's kind of why I feel like, it should be a wait and see kind of deal because, he can write, he can direct, and he can produce. He's done all of these things himself, James Gunn. But right away, he takes the flagship guy and says, I'm going to write the script. I'm going to go ahead and direct it and produce it and do all this. They gave me the keys to the kingdom.
And Saffron.
I'm starting to feel my phenomenal cosmic power.
oh wow.
So, the ego might get the best of them, and that's why I just want to wait and see, because that's what was happening with the original DC crew. Is they got themselves full of ego and started trying to push things that were not really important, like not the story, not the characters, but all kinds of social type of things. So he may go in a totally different direction, but I still think there's an opportunity for him to corrupt himself.
I don't mind the social stuff. I know everyone looks down on it as if like because it usually does take from the story, and I don't view that as a positive. I get it. There's a way to do it. Someone needs to crack that cookie where you just do the social issues and it never like bogs down much. But it feels like they get too gung ho on it, and they're like I'll use Kamala Khan as an example. So she's got 6 episodes of Ms. Marvel, and they did this thing where they introduced themes of her culture. Okay. Her home life and some the lingo that they're using at the house. I'm like, okay, they were doing stuff. They got some religion involved, and so they filmed it at her place of worship, and that's cool. That may be foreign to some people who are not familiar with Islam. Okay, cool. You know what else we're gonna do? For 2 episodes, we're gonna leave New Jersey, go all the way to another part of the world because that's where she's from, and don't ask about the Kamala Nakia thing that's going on between them, and they'll just text each other while she's on the plane. Don't ask about how the bad guys are going to leave the jail, travel all the way over to Karachi. Don't ask questions like that. Why? Because they had to do diversity, because they had to do what was the word you used, Rosales? The agenda stuff. What did you say? You called it something. You had a word for it.
I said social issues is what I said.
Those social issues that they're trying to familiarize and normalize a person of that ethnic background, it gets in the way. I was pleased with a lot of what they were doing. Some moments I'm rolling my eyes, but whatever. It only took like a minute scene for them to talk about hijabs, and I'm like, whatever, we're good, whatever. We're back to the story. But then when they hijack the episode for social issues, that's when I go, damn, you're doing a disservice to the message you're trying to push. We got Dominic over here who writes too long live chat. I'm sure Dominic Powell is a real person. Says over here, TV shows based on comic book stories or character. What are your top 10 adaptations of the series being the most faithful to the source material? Just give one. What's something that's been faithful, Jaded Fanboy, to source material?
Well, that's a trick question because directors are given when you have a certain director, a director is allowed to have his own take on the character, and you trust the director's vision on his take of the character. So there will be no comic book character 100% or even 90% faithful to the source material because the director is going, oh, I like this aspect of the character. This is, like Watchmen. But that's because it's a direct. But even with that, they still changed the ending. They still changed certain things about certain characters. They kept a lot of the lines and they kept the characters, but the director still has the prerogative to give his own little spin. So there's never going to be a comic book movie that's going to. There's no movie based on a book that's 100% accurate, including the Harry Potter
anime. Watch anime. They do stuff that's very
but that's different because that's based. Anime works differently. That's animated. I'm not gonna. I don't really.
Well, no, it's not. It's not that. It's just that
they work together, though. I mean, they work in concert. One pushes up the other, and they really do work in concert. It's not. It's even though Marvel and Disney own both aspects of the services, they don't work together. They're not coherent. They don't stick with the things, and they don't communicate on what the overall project is going to be. Sure. So I mean, it's not really fair, I think, to compare anime to comic book movies.
Even with Akira, the thing with Akira, when everybody loved the movie, and it's like, well, yeah, but there's like 30 issues of story that they never actually covered because they only had 2 hours, so they had to really jam pack the ending of that movie, and it was kind of really condensed. So you're kind of limited to being able to be faithful to the source material.
Was K-Dot saying something about this question here about source material or accuracy?
I mean, I would say Deadpool was pretty accurate. Was really close to the source material, but that's early Deadpool. That's not really later Deadpool.
When did I say the word woke, Aglax? And I don't use the word woke in the wrong way either. I barely use it the right way. It's like a word that people...
You almost said social justice, but you stopped yourself to get social issues out. I think that's what he's talking about, and that's not a fair assessment of what you said either.
Yes. Come on now. Are we next? Are we here? He says they had the character go somewhere. What?
No, the problem with when they had the character.
Speak up a little bit, K-Dot. Your voice is low. Or just get close to the microphone.
Episodes 4 and 5 of Miss Marvel. I'm sorry, but those episodes sucked because I'll tell you. Let's just take out the social nonsense. Who's the villain for a majority of the episodes?
Was the clandestine Najma?
Who was the main that woman, right?
Was it puberty?
And what was her fate? What was her fate? That was probably the worst. Those 2 episodes highlighted the quickest villain downfall I ever seen in general. That was horrible. Then she had a trash death too, and it looked goofy and trash. Like, that's your villain? She touched the thing and died and disappeared. And then they waste time. I get it. You want to talk about the character's culture. There's no issue with that. But they was already doing that in the first couple episodes. They totally derailed to go take her to India and all this other stuff. It's like, why?
India. You know it wasn't India.
I mean, Pakistan.
Felicity, do you want to touch this with comic accuracy? What's the most accurate thing you've seen? I think we all agree Watchmen was that, right? And I didn't even read the comic.
Yeah, Watchmen probably was. If we're talking about the movie and not the TV show.
Yeah, but see, even with the movie, they took out the Black Pirate comic that was part of the comic, right? That wasn't even in the movie. I mean, it was referenced because it was referenced in the storyline. So again, you can't be 100% faithful. It's not going to happen.
True or false? And I don't want long answers. Riri Williams is smarter than all of those enhanced ants from Quantumania. True. Every single one of them.
No.
I don't know yet.
Smarter's the wrong word.
More intelligent.
No, has more plot armor.
Rosales?
True.
That wasn't part of... No, I thought you were saying true to my question. No. Rosales?
I don't pick on young people.
That's a no. Question number 11.
She's legal.
Let's read the live chat. Yeah, she is. Her comic
she in
version is
college.
15. She's 19. Yes.
She a college girl.
Does that change? You can pick on her. Say what you want to say, Rosales.
No.
False. Everyone says false. Okay. The next question, 33, is number 12. True or false? Cosmo is a good dog.
Oh, God.
False. Nope. You're not comic accurate. That's your problem. I needed a male Russian voice. And I don't care what good you think there is, Marvel Studios, in including a female in your movie. You're not breaking any glass shield barriers because the 12th cast member of your movie is gone from male to female. Balance. Yeah, we're doing such a difference. No. All you're doing is crapping on. So no, Cosmo's not a good dog. False. Okay? K-Dot? Felicity, go ahead.
I was just gonna mention, isn't that a different dog from the one that they had in Guardians 1? I was looking at the movie. I was like, wait a minute, that's a different type of dog that they
Oh,
have.
really? Altogether?
Yeah, I think so. If you go back and look,
Uh-huh.
you can see that the dog that they're using now has like longer hair.
Yeah, the other
so
one's dead.
Okay, is that what happened?
Yeah, 2014 to now. Dogs don't live 10
Wait, are you
years.
talking about Guardians 2 when it was the dog? They showed
The collector
him
had a
and Cosmo?
dog. The collector
Yeah,
had
the
a
collector
Cosmo.
had a dog,
Oh,
and that
that's
post-credit scene where the dog licked the collector's face after everything had blown up.
Yeah, the same
That-
scene with Howard the Duck.
Yeah, exactly. It was a different dog.
Nitpicking. That's a nitpick. Everyone, that right there was a different dog breed. Yeah, we know. Different, all right, different dog. All right. Red Skull was a different actor too. It didn't look exactly the same, but we just
Oh, really?
go with the flow. Yeah, they changed the Red Skull from Infinity War back
Oh, I
from
didn't
the
know
first
that.
movie. So what
But
did
I
you say?
noticed it. Hey, I noticed it. So
Good for you, Felicity, but that is a nitpick. We
Yeah,
got
unless the person they're changing is Dumbledore, then it's a big deal.
Cosmo is very, very good male dog.
hey, Bottle Cruiser operational. Rywood says that it's false. Aglac says that it's true. Is a good dog. What was your first exposure to Cosmo? Guardians of the Galaxy, because I wasn't a comic book guy back then. Number 13, true or false? Vision knows Jane lifted Mjolnir. False.
False. Why would he know that?
Because WandaVision happened first. We got 3 falses. Felicity says,
false.
and
Wait,
Rosales, you're gonna agree with us.
Why'd you ask that?
Why do we care?
You know, we never get a unanimous. I try sometimes. I'll throw in a freebie like this one, and not everyone agrees.
No, hold on.
No,
Sometimes
was
we
trying
have.
to force us to all have the same.
Hold on.
opinion.
Sometimes we have a unanimous vote, except for this guy, and then he goes, "Nope, everybody else is wrong." Because he'll do that clip. You are wrong. You are wrong.
All of you are wrong.
Every time that everybody else agrees on something, and Chillmonger doesn't approve of it, we get that clip.
But I also have the "you are right, all of you are right" scene ready. You guys not ready for that one? You just never seen
We're
it.
not ready for that one. We just never seen it.
It's coming. It's one of these days. Were we done with this question? Where are we?
Yep.
Question. Or let me read the live chats. What did you guys all say? Okay. Dominic says that it's false, and Aglax is gonna say that it's true, but falses have it. Dude has the internet, right? Yeah, he has the internet. Vision would have probably seen it from the internet. Now that I think of it.
Dude is the internet, isn't he? I
He
mean,
is
that's
the
how
internet.
he became Ultron.
Well,
maybe
They
it's
come
true.
out of the same
Yeah.
mind.
mm,
That's what the
he
scene
was
is
hooked
suggesting.
into the internet, but he wasn't the internet.
Fine.
I mean, according to Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon says he's the internet. He's the internet.
Oh yeah,
Jaded fanboy, is this true or false? WandaVision made Agatha important.
Oh,
She's a valuable part of the MCU.
well,
When you
yeah.
think of
I
it,
think by the last episode, they gave her more importance. Yeah, I would say yeah. I would say true.
is this true? WandaVision made Agatha vital.
Are you talking story or in general?
I'm just the character and her her relevance in this story that we watch. These movies, these TV shows. Thanos is important, right? Guardians made Thanos important. So would you say WandaVision made Agatha important?
False.
It's
Really?
false.
They
It's
made her a
it?
meme, but
Uh-huh.
no, I don't think she's important. I mean,
She's integral to the whole plot.
I
Like
say
she is literally the catalyst for the whole show.
Nah, it's Wanda.
No, it's because Agatha did what she did to her.
No,
They
Wanda
wrote a musical
caused the
number
hex.
about it. It was Agatha all along.
Yeah,
Wait, were you talking about the hex? Because Wanda caused that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
Wanda
was a
caused
Wanda thing. I'm with
everything
K-Dot.
that happened
I'm
with the
saying
hex is
false.
all Wanda's fault. Agatha was just there chilling, studying Wanda.
Well, I think WandaVision made Agatha important. So important they gave her a show and renamed it twice.
What did they name it the first time? The Coven of Darkness or something? Coven of Chaos?
I don't pay attention to women's shows.
yeah, we'll skip that comment right there. But look, we just had the conversation about memeing. That whole thing was a meme with Agatha, and so they didn't learn the lesson that we just talked about. They're making a show based off of a meme, and it's going to fail.
Yes.
That's why Rosales didn't want to comment on Kamala.
Because look, I'll say
Because
this.
of the age.
This is how
He doesn't watch women shows.
Oh,
Because-
yeah, we got you. Busted.
yeah, because in Agatha's case, you could
One
have just
point
put
for
anyone
Rosales.
like Mephisto there or something. All she was doing was just observing Wanda until she's waiting for a big moment to find out. So okay, now I can get her in here, trap her in my little
Right.
room.
Instead of her just being a background and just watching, she ended up, like I said, in the last episode, she ended up participating. She kidnapped her sons. They actually gave her relevance to the story, whereas she wasn't just.
One episode.
She's going to be very important. But is she important? She's going to be. Is she now?
Well, that's the thing about Marvel, the cinematic universe, and those guys. It seems like they've got everything together and that they're following some kind of blueprint, but they make up crap as they go along, and they've been doing that from day one. They didn't have a full script when they were doing the Iron Man movie, and they changed things on the fly just like that as things go. So if she seems important to the audience, if it goes over well, they're going to expand the character and make her very, very important in the future.
Yeah, kind of like with Black Panther.
Look,
You're wrong.
how important could all of this be if the Sorcerer Supreme couldn't come over from, go one state over to handle it? I mean, that was the failure of the show. I was with them up until the point that Doctor Strange did not show up, or Wong, because I guess he's officially the Sorcerer Supreme, but neither one of them showed up. So how important could any of it be?
You know what's sad? When you initially said how important the Sorcerer Supreme didn't even come over, I was thinking of Doctor Strange. And I watched all these movies and every show, and I know Doctor Strange isn't the Sorcerer, and they do scenes telling us it's Wong, but I still thought of Strange. Wow. What does
Yeah,
that
well,
mean?
initially, Strange was going to be in the show, and I think they might have even filmed a scene or two, but because of the way they had shifted everything around, and Wong was going to be, there's my diabetes. Because Wong is going to be the Sorcerer Supreme, they had to move things in the background.
White
That's
man
not
bad.
That's your Power Rangers.
That's why he
Don't-
didn't show up. White man bad.
We've talked about that. I know me and Kate probably spoke about it a million times, so I have a memory of it. But that was the stupidest, dumbest thing.
Yeah,
And it's just
I
a
mean,
misunderstanding.
They did the same exact thing for Mortal Kombat 2 to justify. I didn't hate Cole, but the reasons for having them there was done because they didn't want to have a white lead character. And I was like, okay, if that's the case, you can just make Liu Kang the main character or Kung Lao or whatever.
True or
But yeah,
false? All right, I'm at
the sole
15.
reason.
True or false? Guardians 3 had a memorable red carpet. False. The only thing I remember is Dave Bautista didn't talk to the Marvel interviewers.
False.
False, because I didn't even watch it, so I can't remember it.
I didn't even know they had one, and even if I did know they had one, I wouldn't have watched it anyway.
Zealous?
If I say false, does it make it unanimous?
Yes.
False.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think none of these red carpets are memorable.
Where's my
unless you
meme?
actually go to them.
Let's find something.
He's got to look for it. He barely.
Yeah, what do I say here? What's a good like agreeing thing to say?
Of course.
There, you got of course from She-Hulk. We got another false in Briarwood. We got another false in Brel. That it was an unmemorable red carpet. True or false? Shang-Chi could defeat the High Evolutionary, and I'm talking without the rings. Could Shang-Chi have done it? Based on the way they took him out in this movie,
True.
this is true. He could have done it.
True.
Yes.
Considering the High Evolutionary is an idiot, it's not going to take much to take him down.
Yes. See, he'll pinpoint the chakra, rip off his face. Yes.
He literally watched. He's watching. This is at the end. He's watching Rocket Raccoon take out a gun, extend it, and High Evolutionary is going, yeah, okay, I'll just let him do that and let him shoot me. So yeah, he's an idiot.
Wait, he didn't let him shoot. He picked him up and then dragged him across the ceiling.
Yes, and then
Rocket
he comes.
founded his technology.
Then Rocket uses his gravity boots to get down on the floor.
Yeah.
And then he does his little speech. I can't remember what it was. And then he takes out his gun and he pulls it out and he extends it. And then he aims it at the High Evolutionary. And the High Evolutionary just stands there like an idiot. And has Rocket shoot him.
I don't think it was that long of a gap. And I need to watch the movie. I don't remember being that long of a gap.
It was a long gap.
If you let somebody monologue before they shoot you, you're stupid.
Yeah. I believe it's what was that movie? The Incredibles, where what was it? Syndrome goes, oh my God, you sly dog, you got me monologuing.
And that's why the Jaded Fanboy gets 300 views on his reviews. Felicity, what do you think? True or false? High Evolutionary will get his ass whooped by Shang-Chi.
Yeah, I think Seaman Liu can probably pull that off.
I don't know if you said his name wrong on purpose. I think you did.
I did. I call him Seaman.
Okay.
The High Evolutionary got his ass kicked by a raccoon, for Christ's sakes. Come on.
No, he didn't, Jaded.
Yes, he did.
He lost.
He got his ass kicked by a raccoon. He was just standing there.
That doesn't mean he got it. He got his ass kicked by the whole team. He got hit by a raccoon with a gun.
No, in the flashback, Rocket jumps on him, and all he does is claw at his face, which is why he lost his face.
Yeah, it's a wild animal.
So he lost it. He lost the fight to a raccoon.
True or false, Jaded?
Somebody didn't have his super powered suit at that time, anyways.
Then he should have survived.
K-Dot, did somebody cry when Thanos died? Anyone in the galaxy, trillions. Did somebody cry?
Yeah, all the Thanos super sympathizers and Falcon Winter Soldier, Carly's people.
The Flag Smashers.
The Flag Smashers, they cried because they was down with what Thanos was doing because they liked half of the population being gone. The people in Hawkeye, the people that work at the ice cream shop.
They're not crying because Thanos died. They're crying because the world is returning to normal. They're not sad for Thanos. That's not an emotion they have to him. You know who would have? Ebony Maw. That was the most loyal of his servers, but he dies in Infinity War, right? So it's not like he had any room to cry. Thanos died. Oh no, my Thanos, my sweet Thanos. There's no love for Thanos. His own daughter helped kill him.
He was crying as he was being dusted away, like my master.
Oh God!
Nobody cried. Not one cry. When Thor stabbed the first Thanos death in Endgame, in the beginning of Endgame, not a single person in the galaxy was like, "Oh, too bad Thanos died." They were all happy. Oof, okay, it's good to know he's down.
All those traitors just crying when King Thanos dies.
So false. Yes, 2 falses, 1 true. Rosales says,
I would have cried if my lease was voided.
what does that even mean?
Well, it means when everybody came back after Thanos was eliminated.
Yep.
See, that's the thing. You're not crying for Thanos. You're crying for the effects of the blip.
Well, anybody who's crying is crying for themselves, no matter what they're crying about. If they lose somebody that's close to them, they're really crying about their own loss and what it means to them personally.
Not everybody. Some people are like, damn, he really died in that fire. I can't imagine the pain he went through. Oh, he didn't deserve that, you know?
Nobody's that empathetic.
Stop making me think. Jaded Fanboy, true or false, somebody cried when Thanos died.
Again, you'd have to assume that anybody knew that Thanos died. The only people that knew that Thanos died
after the Avengers made the announcement to the whole world and worlds.
Right, but they didn't know who Thanos was anyway, so why would they cry? I would say yes, true. I would say false. Nobody cried when Thanos died, but that's because there was really nobody that cared about him. So yeah, false.
Nebula?
No, she didn't cry.
No, she just when his head got cut off, she wiped a smear of blood off of her face, but that wasn't a tear. That was blood.
That's the closest we got.
I mean, Gamora, when she killed, the illusion of Thanos, she wasn't in tears.
I cried when that rabbit got shot. His brother, maybe? Yeah, his brother's in the world, right? It was at the end of Eternals. Yeah, maybe his
brother didn't care about him.
True or false, Wakanda Forever is a Black Panther sequel? False. Next question, because everyone agreed on that one. Number 19, who was an under-the-radar character that you would like to return? Out of all the characters who are like, now don't get much screen time, so I would go, who would I go? Silver Surfer. He didn't return, though. He hasn't shown up yet. Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he was in the Rise of the Silver Surfer.
In the universe, we haven't seen a Silver Surfer.
In the MCU
universe. That was they didn't have a name for that universe. Fantastic Four-verse.
Fantastic.
Well, if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was still connected,
yeah,
I would have liked to see Robbie Ray as Ghost Rider.
All right.
Pretty cool.
Who would I like?
If we're gonna do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I want Absorbing Man back.
We got the Kukul Khan.
Oh hell no.
Kukulkan.
Namor? No? Yeah.
Namor.
Namor.
No.
You got to say it the way that Victoria Alonso said it.
Oh.
Namor.
You watched that red carpet. I saw that one, yeah.
No more. Please.
We
no
used
more.
it for one of our shorts.
or an actual an actually viable Iron Fist. A Danny Rand that's actually Iron Fist. That would be nice.
The superior.
Who do you think should play Iron Fist?
A white guy.
Yeah, obvious, but
a black.
Oh, I don't really have a.
I was actually seeing some people that wanted an Asian dude to play Iron Fist.
A white actor that has at least some martial arts skill would be nice.
Yes.
We get Fat Cobra. But an underrated I want to return. Remember that news reporter that Iron Man slept with? Christine Everhart? Like, give me more of her. Under the radar character. We need her. Because she was in 2008, and she's I don't know her, the actress. Her career is not that popping. She needs to be appearing in some more of these TV shows just for the sake of continuity. Christine.
Justin Hammer. I want Justin Hammer.
Yeah, I think she's married to him in real life. Rockwell.
Yeah,
and that
they're together. Yeah.
See? So if we get one, we get both.
I think that I would have liked to have seen Misty Knight and Colleen. I really would have liked to seen that show if they would have done that.
See, a lot of you guys are going to that Netflix Daredevil verse. I don't, or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't even count those, but all right. I asked the question for you guys to answer. Madison with
she wasn't under the radar though, and that I'm sorry, she was awful. I thought she was.
She's under the radar. Come on now. The reporter that Tony banged in Iron Man 1. Oh, that's what I said. Yeah, see, yeah. There we go, Tony. Luke Cage. Jason Statham knows martial arts.
No more Jason Statham, please.
He's
No more.
old.
He had
Everyone-
one
Jason
good
is
movie, and that
spoiled
was
for Iron
it.
Fist.
Pepper Potts. I think Luke and Pepper are characters who are not under the radar.
A younger Jason would have been cool for Danny Rand.
Yeah. Wrong
Why
national
wouldn't
network.
Quill get Gamora to fall in love again? Because that's not how it works, bro.
She
didn't want
wasn't
it.
the same Gamora. She
Yeah.
was a different person.
See,
That
it's
was the whole point.
circumstantial. The way that you fall in love with somebody it depends on a lot of things that need to align. So even if it's the same two people, like remember that movie with Channing Tatum and with my girl Rachel McAdams? They had a movie where the woman got an amnesia and she was just like, I can't do this relationship anymore. I'm gone. I'm done. And they break up
I
with each
remember that
other.
movie.
They never had
Yeah, but he was trying to win her back.
the new Gamora never had the same moments that the old Gamora had with Quill. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Quill still had the memory of those those moments. The new Gamora is like, I never had those, so how can I have that connection? So
I'm reminded of Bill Murray in Groundhog Day and how many times he tried to get that woman to be with him. And it only took the one for it to work out, but it took him, 100 years?
well, no, because remember that one scene where they build the snowman and then the kids throw the snowballs at them and then they land on the ground and they have that moment. He kept trying to repeat that scene over and over again, and they never had that connection again. So.
Yes, there's movies that have touched on this topic, and you got to learn. That's why. Okay.
I think in Quills, I get it. He was emotional, but even I think me and you took it the same way. I think it was me and you when he was being extra creepy about that. Like that was weird because there was points in the movie where he was being so weird that he was just literally saying, you don't have any of the memories from back then, and I'm like, dude, that's not the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was legit saying, you don't remember anything about what happened.
Romantically and emotionally, Quill is a 12-year-old. I mean, he's got no grown-ups really that are like him to have ever shown him how to be or respect a woman. And we knew that he wasn't respecting women when they first met. Didn't know who he was with and why she was wearing his shirt. He forgot she was in the ship.
You were there.
And Quill is emotionally, pardon the phrase, but it actually fits, and it don't mean it in the mental way. But he is emotionally retarded.
How did that?
So he doesn't know that he's being a creep. He doesn't know that he's being a stalker. He doesn't know exactly what it's like until it's brought to his attention in a very, very strong way.
Well, yeah, I have no, because I have no issue with him being emotionally. My issue was, again, this had to do with the script in general, because I don't know why they had him saying this, but the whole, she doesn't remember anything from these past couple of years, or when he asked her, do you not remember the things that happened these past couple of years? Because dude, she's from a different universe. I get it, you're in love, but that is from a totally different universe.
Not a different universe, different time.
MCU time.
That's one of the things I like.
It's a different universe, because if you kill yourself in the past, you should be dead in the future. Was stupid.
This is one of the big problems when it comes to the MCU. The different timelines, alternate universes, different universes. It all gets bundled into one thing.
Don't forget the dark dimension.
Because I'm not saying you're wrong, JD. You're right. She's supposed to be. She's from the same time, but from the past.
Right.
But in Endgame, when Nebula, Ebony Maw said Nebula from 9 years in the past, blah blah blah,
right.
And so Nebula from 9 years in the past got shot. So her future self should be dead because she can't exist.
And this is the kind of thing that happens when Marvel makes it up on the spot.
Why couldn't
this is actually one of the things I liked about this movie is that they didn't shy away from not having this work out.
Yeah.
Right. Because look, basically, it's like in life. Sometimes the relationships you have with people are just transitional to get you to the next place in life where you need to be at. That's what Gamora was for him in this movie. It's like, yeah, it wasn't going to work out. It wasn't going to go back to the way that things were because she's not the same person. and he had to finally realize that and move on.
I
But
was
if we're not giving them credit, Zoe Saldana and Chris Pratt and Dave Bautista and everyone's contract were up, and there was no concrete like proof or not proof, but like certainty that they'd be back. And so we got the movie that we got where the love interest go away.
there was a moment where I thought that they were going to rekindle the romance, because after she's in the when she's in the ship by herself and she's going through all this stuff and she's seeing the old pictures and she's listening to the music,
Okay.
I actually thought, oh my God, are they going to actually have her, suddenly
And
rekindle that?
hopefully Zoe Saldana will be back to do the green makeup one more time, and they'll play into that. And that scene wasn't for nothing. But the truth of the matter is, Felicity's vision or wording of it or how it went down it's a result of the circumstances. It was not planned. And now Kita says, why wouldn't they get Mantis to touch her? Is that a power set of Mantis where she can make you feel? I know she can make you feel in love, but could she make you remember? That's the thing.
No. It's just emotions.
It's only emotions.
Yeah.
So that's why, because Mantis is not a bad guy. She's not about to do the emotion thing on some. Oh no, she made Drax forget. Remember?
Yeah, but only because
They
it's
did
funny.
do it to Kevin Bacon.
Oh, no, she says it. She goes, "You made me fall in love." She goes, "Yeah, but only because it was funny."
Okay, so why doesn't she do it to Gamora though?
Because it wouldn't have been funny. It would have been serious.
It's weird. I think morally it's the wrong
She
thing
did
to
do it to Kevin Bacon though, which was kind of messed up.
But that was for the reason of her friend Peter. So yeah,
But it was still
let me
messed
do it to
up, though.
Gamora for Peter.
She abducted this guy, and then she tweaks his memories to make him. Well, tweaks his.
Wait a minute. Didn't
Really?
Wanda do that? Didn't Wanda do that?
Wanda's not a good example.
Why? She kidnapped a bunch of people and tweaked their mind.
But they did. But Peter did scold her, told her what she did was wrong because she's an alien. They don't have the same customs as people.
I don't think it's right for anyone to slip anybody else a Marvel Mickey.
No, it's absolutely not right. William says, I was more disappointed that Gamora and Nebula lost all their growth together and then they went back to not liking each other in the third movie. Did you not see the way they grunted at each other? They liked each other. Gamora had nothing to remember because she never experienced.
She still liked her sister.
She still liked her sister.
They just got.
They
She
never
just
liked
has to
it. They
talk to
never
her like
liked
she's
each other at the
2014
beginning.
Gamora though.
But they
What
never
about
liked
2014?
each other at all.
No, I'm saying she has to talk to him like she's 2014 Gamora though.
Yeah.
They were never lovey-dovey sisters. That never happened.
Yeah. Nebula hated Gamora because she was going, Thanos liked you best.
Jaded fanboy.
Well, at that point, not out like Gamora is the reason Nebula did change because Gamora, like being with the Guardians, her temper changed. She wasn't.
Yeah, but it was the Guardians that caused Nebula to change, not Gamora.
Well, it started with Gamora in Guardians 2, and then her being with the Guardians. But Gamora was part of the start of why she did change because she saw, okay, her sister can.
Because she tried to save her.
She can change too.
And the blip happened. I mean, that's when when Nebula and Rocket became really close. That's why she was so invested in trying to get him saved.
And also her and Tony. She was playing freaking
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Flipping.
and stuff, help humanize her.
Rosales, what are the Taika Waititi plans? You just hacked into the computers at Marvel. You have the answers. Tell me, what are their plans for Taika?
Well, he's planning on making a live-action version of Akira. So that's a whole new franchise for him to mess up.
There you go.
Yep.
Aside from that, he'll probably murder some Star Wars people.
That's crazy. And I saw I'm going to just change the topic for a mini second. Kathleen Palpatine needs to be absolutely fired from her job. The stuff that she talks about when it comes to Rian Johnson, Taika, all these guys are just really busy and they're very successful. You're Star Wars. There's not other things that take precedence before you. Maybe they can prioritize a project or two, and you're like, all right, fine, just finish up what you got to do. I understand it's a passion project. Do your thing. But it's been years. I don't believe Rian Johnson is actually coming back. You're lying when you say that. Same thing with Taika Waititi. These guys are not going to... They're just really successful, busy doing other things. No, things are not in development with them anymore. Tell the truth.
Well, the thing, because Bob Iger is back. He wrote that book where he straight up acknowledged the faults that they had, especially with Star Wars, and he straight up said it had no plan at all. It's hopes that he will come back in and go like, yeah, Kathleen, I'm gonna just put you down here. We're gonna put Dave in your position, like is around, or he might just come in here and make the same mistake again, and not take her out of the position she was in, because a lot of this stuff happened because of her. She got lucky with the Mandalorian. She got lucky. Just because she greenlit it, and she just greenlit that, doesn't excuse all the other stuff she messed up on. Rogue One was cool, but that's about it. All she got is the Mandalorian and Rogue One that she greenlit. That was actually good.
You don't get credit for green lighting. That's not something that I get.
Yeah, I'm not giving her full credit either. I'm saying
I'm not giving her partial credit.
These the only two things she actually done good on so far.
John Favreau wants to do something with Lucasfilm. How do you say no to that? Like how many more people more qualified than John Favreau in 2019 come to you? Hey, we want to do a thing for you. How do you not say yes to that? Jade?
All this is Iger's fault, basically. Iger is behind all the problems. Feige and KK are just the public faces of his failures. If he hadn't been trying to meddle, in the way that these things go, with the MCU and with Star Wars. Unfortunately, with Star Wars, I think he's hemmed up by whatever pictures or video or whatever KK has on him, because that's the only explanation for that dumpster fire that is going on with Star Wars. She should have been fired after Solo. She should have been fired because she hasn't managed to get anything going in the theaters since the Rise of Skywalker.
Indiana Jones 5 is coming next month. Remember that?
Yeah. How successful is that going to be? I don't think it's going to be very successful at all.
It won't be successful. And you know what's interesting? Mission Impossible is going to come 2 days earlier just to cut into the window of that movie franchise. Good. I hope that Indiana Jones makes $0.00. Number 22. Would you rather look like Mantis or Drax?
Mantis.
Drax. You could wear some clothing, no one would notice.
Mantis is actually hot though, so I'll be Mantis.
I didn't really
that hair and beard.
I mean, you're still a guy. You just have the antennas and the skin tone.
But compared to Drax, he's not all that handsome looking. I wonder what the rest of his species look like. Mantis is hot though, so I imagine Red First species might be,
Okay. All right then.
Mantis.
All right. You go Mantis. You go Mantis.
Wait a minute. What kind of logic is that? Because there are hot females that are human,
with antennas.
but there's a lot of them that are butt ugly. I mean, just because one of them is attractive doesn't mean the entire race is attractive.
Exactly.
Well, Drax is the only representation we have of his
And
race.
so's Mantis.
Yep, Mantis is the only representation.
Hold on.
It's all I can work with.
We see an Ugnaught. I have spoken. Those guys are ugly. I don't find a pretty one.
Yeah, they're all. You know what? That's true. All those Ugnaughts, even the women, they're all ugly.
Yes.
None of them are hot. But the Twi'leks, this is all the Twi'leks, even the men are handsome and the women are hot. All of them.
The Twi'leks are shooting with a high batting average.
See? So you can have a species where everybody's like almost pretty much sexy. So
if the only thing I got was the body tattoos and the color of skin, I'll go with Mantis.
All right. Next, Mantis is mixed. Mixed with what? Ego?
I mean, she is Ego's daughter too.
Quill is mixed.
She doesn't have those like celestial abilities anymore too, because Ego's dead.
Yeah. 23. Would Iron Man have chosen She-Hulk over Spider-Man in Civil War? He was looking for, candidates to fight on his side. He skipped over that whole Netflix era in New York, and he just went straight to Spider-Man and got him as a fighter. Now, if She-Hulk was a hero at the time, would he have gone to She-Hulk instead of Peter with that short amount of time? Yeah, he would.
So Spider-Man just I'm not trying to shit on Spider-Man.
Yes, you are. You always are. Why?
No,
That's what
well,
we say. It's like, oh,
no, I'm
offense,
talking
well.
Spider-Man in general. Like, okay, Tony was so desperate, he had to go ask a 15-year-old boy for help. That's how desperate he was for allies.
And that was only because
desperate for
only
allies.
because you saw a video of him stopping a car. That was it.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have trusted a lawyer.
He watched more than just a video. He had more knowledge about Spider-Boy, okay? And yes, he would have. A lawyer he's got relationships with many lawyers. You know? I don't see why Tony and lawyers
had
would
all
have
that
died.
bad business he been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't think he would have trusted a lawyer. Plus, she was a female.
She-Hulk would have tried to screw him, and Pepper Potts would have gone ballistic. So I don't think that would have worked out very well.
That's it. He wouldn't have been allowed to choose her. I go with that. I stick with Felicity.
Excuse me. He wasn't. Pepper Potts didn't want him to get Natasha. And what did he do? Still got Natasha.
No.
Pepper Potts was against him hiring Natasha, and he still did it anyway.
I was late on that drop by a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, but he didn't screw her, as far as we know.
Well, that's because Natasha wouldn't let him. There's a difference.
I don't think
they was still, and to be fair, they was still early in their little romantic stuff. Like, not to say that it wasn't okay what Tony was doing, but their relationship was at the point where like
they didn't even kiss yet.
They kissed at the beginning when she jumped out the plane.
Well, no, because there was that one scene in the
Iron the top of the Iron Man.
Oh, the helmet. Yeah, the helmet.
Remember?
She kissed helmet, then put on.
Yeah, she kissed the helmet. Yeah. Has Steve Rogers seen a Brooklyn Nets game? The man out of Brooklyn, Steve Rogers. He leaves in 2023. Was there any basketball during the blip? Yeah, there was. He probably did have to make some
there
signings.
was definitely best sports going on still during the blip.
They had sports after the
limited,
blip.
but they had to do what they had to do, man.
In the bubble. Yes.
Basketball or baseball? I'm not sure he was a basketball fan. He's definitely a fan of baseball.
Brooklyn Nets. They probably had like a Brooklyn Dodgers day, and he's like, "Oh, I remember the Dodgers. Let me show up." So I'm gonna go with yes. I think he went to one game, especially when there wasn't no threats. He's a Brooklyn guy, so he's gone. Even during the Winter Soldier days, maybe he went during then. He went.
Technically, if he was a Brooklyn Nets fan, he would have seen them, and he goes, "Why are all the players black?"
He'd be like, "What's going on here?"
I would say yes.
Yeah,
he's seen one. If not in person, he's at least seen it on like an iPad or something like that.
Okay. I'm saying he went to the arena. You're just saying at least he's seen it on an iPad. Maybe went to an arena. What did Rosales say?
I say nah, because he's got more stuff to do. I mean, he took over healing other normal people after the blip to get them to, he started a 12-step program. Yeah, so he's got no time for that.
Yeah, but remember, he had that list of things that he was supposed to do, like Trouble Man.
He's going to done that by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he ran out of things on his list. He's like, this reminds me of Sam. I'm going to go watch this basketball game.
His list was kind of small. He actually have a lot.
Well, no. We saw one page. It could have been, there could have been like 12 pages before that he went, okay, let me just add that to the list.
And well, there were different things depending on which part of the world you were in. There were different things on the list. Yeah. So technically there are multiple pages.
He went to a Pelicans game, New Orleans. That's right. Question number 23. Where are we? We're not at 23. We're at 25. Did a baby Thor create unintentional damage with his powers? Pee, sneeze, and then all of a sudden some electrocution stuff is happening. Yeah, that's how it worked. Yes.
Possibly.
It happened.
Because
that's why his mom was a witch.
Well, possibly because Odin, the way it seems his powers work, they're literally like a given to him. Because once his dad took the hammer away, his dad crafted a hammer, which totally sucks out his abilities. I think once he got to a certain age, he was like, all right, I'm going to bestow you with the powers now.
So he depowered him as a baby, you think?
Probably. Because think about it, if he's a baby with lightning powers and he sneezes,
yeah.
Remember what happened with Elsa?
Remember what
That's
happened?
I could be wrong, but that's what I think because if I'm looking how it went in Thor 1, his dad totally just tapped him of his abilities that he's supposedly born with. So
I
You
think
might be
Marvel
right
has
about that.
already established that powers are granted at the time of puberty, so I don't think he had any godly powers until he
Right.
became a godly horn dog.
But Love and Thunder, they showed you that those kids could get the power of Thor for a moment, and they were pre-puberty.
Again, this is the Marvel plot device where they make stuff up as they go along.
Sounds like it. You want to touch this one, Felicity?
I'm gonna say no. Because I mean, look at what happened in Thor 1 with the frost giants. I mean, that was unintentional damage that he did. I don't think I don't feel like this had happened before. So no, I'm gonna say no.
And probably set that up to be able to take his powers, so he didn't turn out like Hela. Yeah. See, we got to use the logic that they've given us. Why was that one Scott in a Baskin Robbins uniform? Everyone else was in an Ant-Man uniform, and they multiplied. They're like, "We gotta save Cassie, everyone!" And one of them was wearing Baskin Robbins. Anyone?
Because it was
the
funny.
because the MCU doesn't understand what alternate universe characters are. It's the same thing with the upcoming into this the Miles Morales
Spider-Verse.
the Spider Verse. You have a cameo of Paper Bag Spider Man, and it's like that's not an alternate universe Spider Man. That's Peter Parker from the 616. But they have no idea, so they don't.
Well, maybe there is a
But
universe
it
where
could
he's
be an alternate version where there's a Peter Parker.
He's no. That character is known specifically for
we
a
know,
specific.
and for you to be happy, they did that character, and they're saying basically that what a comic you're familiar with, where he did the paper bag, he just got really used to it and said, "I'm just the paper bag Spider-Man now until forever." There's
He was
infinite amount of
embarrassed.
universes. One of them, that's what happens.
Oh my god!
It's as easy as that, and you get to enjoy.
Wait,
the
Jay,
Easter
you
eggs.
talking about the one with the Fantastic Four comic, right? Where he had
Yes.
yeah, I mean he only put it on so people don't.
Yeah, he put it on,
Identity.
and yeah, he put it on
Because
so that he could hide
there
his.
was no mask he could wear.
Yeah, he had no mask, and Johnny Storm goes, "Here, have a paper bag."
And
because
then
they
in
were
this
rivals.
universe, that Peter was so empowered by the paper bag. He's like, listen, if I can wear the paper bag and still be a superhero, I'm going to send this message to the kids. It doesn't matter what you look like. The paper bag stays.
That is so weak.
But
That
it's an
is- that is
infinite
so
universe.
weak.
The
That is
multiverse
so-
It is.
has so many things. There's a
I think Spider Verse is handling
Make it
it better, but in Quantumania, it should have been different Scotts. You should have seen a Scott that probably I don't know wasn't a Scott that grew up on a different planet,
Or
a Scott
that
in
was
a different
crocodile.
Ant-Man
That
suit.
was- Yeah, a Scott that was a crocodile, like in Loki.
yes.
Yeah, like
your Scott.
I just thought it was weird that you only see a Scott from Baskin Robbins when it's like, okay, these are Scotts from different possibilities and stuff. Where's a Scott with a different suit? Where's a Scott that probably stayed in jail and never got out?
Yeah.
You know, it was very.
I bet it
limited.
was. I bet it was one of those things that I think Rosales said because it was funny. Because remember, Iger came back and he was like, "Oh yeah, we need to inject more funny into this movie," and that's why they had all these reshoots.
That was supposed to be funny.
Yes.
Hey, Iger's not a good judge of funny.
Next question of 33 Burning MCU Questions is, when do ants fight back against the oppression of Pym? When does that happen? Viva la revolution.
Was they really oppressed though? I mean,
Yeah, because that helmet allows him to control the ants. It's not like they're doing it willingly.
but look at it like this.
Oh,
He gave those ants the opportunity to make a civilization for themselves, and look what they did.
He had nothing to do with it.
Yeah,
No, they didn't. Those ants entered the quantum warp, and they went through 4,000 years of evolution. Pym had nothing to do with it.
no, but remember ants he was controlling though.
Yeah, but that was
And then he
after the
sent them down
civilization was no. Those ants created the civilization all on their own, and then they evolved into these giant ants. And then Pym goes, "Hey, let's use the ants now," and then he controlled them.
Yeah, but I think their interests probably aligned at this point. Everybody wanted to get rid of Kang at this point when they met back up. So I don't think they were being oppressed at that moment.
They just wanted to help their creator, their god.
That,
It's
they
not
really
good
they
for
were in the
you
quantum realm.
either.
How big
They
were
want-
they for real?
What is
It's
size?
about the size of a car, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Well, because in the quantum realm, like since it's like we still saw like I think a booger creature, look like a booger, but it wasn't because it's just subatomic. It's stuff that you really can't see that we. I mean, it
Like
wasn't that
broccoli
big.
with
You're
eyes?
trying to justify an MCU movie. It's not going to happen.
No, I'm just looking at it from like because there's just stuff we cannot see unless you got like a magnifying glass.
Yeah,
Like
you're not looking
germs
at
and stuff.
you're not look you're talking about ideas that are actually just pitch meeting stuff. Stuff that is flung against the wall and actually stuck, which means
Because
that
there's
it
a-
is what it is.
Because what the MCU did is they conflated the subatomica with the quantum realm, and they just combined the two together.
Look, the ants were
He
the poop.
asks them. He
ants were the
suggests
poop.
it.
The ants were the poop, and everybody else was the corn in the poop. In the
No,
I
quantum
that's
realm.
swear
all
to
that
God, I literally expected to see Jarella in the Quantum Mania movie.
I wish they still had the license for the Micronauts.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
28. Could Yellow Jacket have controlled Yellow Jackets? Is that how it works?
No,
No, he couldn't have. No,
Nah,
no
it's
he
just
never
a-
got that. He never got
It's
there.
just a cool opposite name to have.
Yeah, he knew how to do the shrinking. He didn't master even the growing, so he didn't have the telepathy.
he didn't have the tech for it.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
No.
Oh, we got Ian in the building.
My money stacked fat, plus I can't turn the swell off. The franchise doing big business.
Just saw your response to Captain Marvel 2 from my tweet question. Thank you for answering. Just subbed to you. Support your fellow creators. LSS. What's LSS mean? Let's suck. No. Why my mind go there? Let's figure this one out. He says, let's support.
Okay. Didn't know we were going there.
I didn't
think
know I
trying
was
to
going
say-
there either.
Let's support supporters.
Exit stage left. Exit stage left.
Let's support supporters. That's what he's trying to say.
Let's
I
support
think. I don't know.
Let's show support.
Yeah.
That's what
Hey,
it
here's
was.
an idea, Ian. Why don't you tell us what LSS stands for? Here's an idea. Why not try that? Try that. Try that.
Nah, I like this game here. It says slavery. What? But he said what he said there about the Captain Marvel 2 for my tweet question. I don't even remember what that tweet was that I responded to. I'm sorry, Ian. Let me find it on Twitter. Let me scroll through. Maybe I should bring it up. Is your name Ian?
Oh, like, share, subscribe.
Of course it's like
Good
share,
job. It's not Captain Marvel 2 because they know they can't sell that, and they still ain't gonna sell the Marvels.
Cut
It
that out.
ain't gonna work.
Thank you. He says I can't super chat, like, share, and subscribe. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Super chats make things fun. Coming on here every Saturday and getting a super chat always boosts my spirits. He says yes,
Nice.
just as when a supervisor asks an employee to do a task, they cannot make them do it, but you are holding their livelihoods at like you can't say no to a job task because then you're out of a job, which means
We're all just
You're-
slaves to the man.
Trinity, the better example is you can ask your wife to do something. Doesn't mean she's going to do it.
okay, yeah, that's actually kind of progressive now that you think of it, Jaded Fanboy. I know you have a shtick.
Yeah, because I'm known for being progressive. Really, I am.
Of course.
Number 29.
Jaded.
Yeah, go ahead. What did you say, Kata? You said something?
No, I was saying progressive jaded.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, progressive Jaded. There we go. Everyone here is progressive, super progressive. Go
Why
on.
not progressive fanboy?
See, there's an alternate universe where progressive fanboy
No,
loves
there is
love
no alternate
film
universe.
in almost everything.
And he loves Marvel movies.
Yes.
There is no alternate universe where that happens.
Is that Jaded wearing a Baskin Robbins shirt?
Yeah,
Is,
pretty much.
is it?
Baskin Robbins shirt, progressive fanboy. Here's 20 reasons why Marvel was absolutely knocking it out of the park this time.
There are people who kind of make videos that way, and I question their, I don't
Their
know,
sanity, their legitimacy,
their
their value
genuine,
of life.
yeah, their legitimacy. It's in question, honestly.
Their direct deposits.
Yeah, they've got lists of like. Oh, did you guys see what Star Wars Theory posted maybe like 2 hours ago about being blacklisted?
No.
I have that one in my watch later pile of stuff.
Okay, well, just not to spoil it for Felicity, he's blacklisted and he gets into why, but and how he knows it, and that's crazy. Like, it's crazy how you could be
Wait, blacklist on YouTube or?
not. It means
with
that
with
they will
Disney.
not give him access to things like that. Like
Oh.
he'll never get a booth at Star Wars Celebration. He's on a blacklist, and they have and
Wait, you're
companies
talking
have
about the
that.
bald head dude, right?
Yeah, the bald head dude with like 3 million subs, and he.
Okay, him. I mean, I can understand why. I'm not saying he deserves it, but I can understand why.
Do you want to share why, or do you want to not share why?
He's been very critical of Star Wars.
Oh,
Not saying he can't be, but he's been super critical of Star Wars. The only way they're going to give you that access is if you're like, you got to be a legit fanboy of them. And if you do give criticisms, it has to be like slight constructive stuff. It needs to be like, all right, let's say
Toned down. It has to be incredibly toned down.
yeah, it gotta be, man, you know.
But it wasn't that bad. Like say the criticism, but then go, but it really wasn't that bad. I still love the movie.
Or people like the people who's all the YouTubers who's gassing up Zelda probably got early copies and stuff.
Yeah.
If they do have criticized it, they'll have to say something like, I mean, I don't like the fact that the weapon deterioration is bad, but it forces you to be crafty. You have something like that. You have to say stuff like that.
Time? No.
Yeah, you gotta say stuff like that. That's the only way you're gonna get on with these insiders.
If I'm, I don't know. This is murky waters for me because I don't like to mention other YouTubers unless the positive stuff. But he's not gonna watch this. I would say his association with other YouTubers probably got him blacklisted more so than the criticalness.
I think it might be that.
You probably are right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like a comic skate version of Star Wars fans?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Star Wars fans.
There you go. I think he is blacklisted because of who he associates. Yeah. Oh yeah. I said that before I read Perp write that, but yeah. Side note: blacklisted. You guys ever heard me talk about the word black and how it's a stupid word to use for, like, people with dark skin tones are black people? Like, words like blacklisted, blackballed, black ice, like, there's a negative connotation with the word black. So people shouldn't be considered that, that type. I'm just saying brown.
Black hole.
Black holes that suck everything in. There's a lot of other ways that black are used that are not positive.
Data one of those.
Shut up. The next question is 29. What is your Avengers 5 box office prediction? It still makes $1 billion. $1 billion. And it'll be in May, right? The beautiful, glorious month of May.
Oh yeah, that's guaranteed over $1 billion, probably $2 billion.
What is
Not
Avengers 5 supposed to be? What's the storyline?
Kang Dynasty.
Oh yeah, it's not going to make $1 billion now.
Because of Jonathan Major's legal trouble?
No, because of Quantum Mania. I don't. There could have been nothing about Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors could have been fine.
Uh-huh.
Nobody cares about Kang because everybody stopped watching it before the Jonathan Majors story.
But it's kind of not that person's fault. The character's
I know it's
fault.
not Jonathan
It's the
Majors.
prior movies which made them go, oh, okay, then forget.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man No Way Home made $2 billion. I mean 1.9. And then the next one over was Multiverse of Madness, which was like, okay, it was positive. And then Multiverse of Madness did what it did, which got Thor what it got. And Thor didn't have a Chinese release, and if it did, it would have been a successful, hot movie. No one would have been. But the performance of Thor And then, the people not really liking it, feeling it, affected the next movie over, which was Wakanda, whatever, in November. Plus, they killed the main character. But then that left people feeling not good, which got them to what Quantumania got them, which was like not a good performance, which gets to Guardians 3.
I can see Secret Wars being successful. I just don't see Kang Dynasty being that successful.
Avengers 5 will be coming off of Deadpool, Fantastic Four.
So what?
I keep interrupting you, Rosales. Go ahead.
No. And that's part of the reason why I don't think it's going to do so well. It's going to have all of these things coming ahead of it that are going to be just flat out blockbusters.
Yeah.
And by the time the Kang Dynasty comes around, it doesn't matter how many Kangs you have. He's going up against the Avengers version that has the most powerful Avengers known to mankind that are completely 100% unstoppable. You're talking about Wanda and her two boys. You're talking about the Hawkeye replacement. The Riri Williams is going to be there. You're talking about She-Hulk. So all of these super, mega, ultra-powered, can't-lose Avengers are going up against a bunch of Kangs, who's already been taken out, one of them at least, by Ant-Man. So there's no way, there's no drama there. There's no real learning curve by the Avengers, at least, in dealing with them.
I think people need to stop really considering $1 billion being a successful marker of anything, simply because they are spending ungodly amounts of money to even get these films made. $1 billion became the marker because they were spending like probably $500 million to even get the movie made. So they have to make $1 billion in order to see any type of profit. And you also have to think about inflation. $1 billion today is less than $1 billion, 10 years ago. So just because, they've made up their mind that that's a marker of success doesn't mean that we need to consider that. I don't consider that, because if it's going to be Kang Dynasty, I don't care. I don't care for Kang. I don't know what their plan is. I do feel like they have moved on from Jonathan Majors, even though they haven't said. But I don't know what the plan is, if they're going to, recast or just do another villain. Like maybe
you got to start
Doom.
watching my videos, because I scold every single human being who talks the recast. Oh, it would be really nice if we could get this guy as Kang. And hey, what about the High Evolutionaries version of Kang? Hey, Kang needs to be recast. I hate that conversation. Why? Because this man's not guilty. He's innocent until proven guilty. And plus, she just changed her story because he broke up with her. Like, this guy is pretty innocent. I disagree.
Why not just have the Baskin Robbins Scott be the next Kang? Because
you interrupted me and Felicity for that.
No, look,
how stupid that concept was.
I get what you're saying, but you're speaking as if Disney is listening. They're not listening to what you're talking about. They only care about money. And the fact that they may have contributed to how people see an innocent man, that doesn't enter their calculus at all. I'm glad that that's something that you care about, but they don't care about that, and it doesn't figure into what they're going to do going forward with the character.
29. Where are we? 30. Question number 30. What were your thoughts on the Captain Marvel 2 trailer? Beastie Boys, fun, power swapping to each other, visually look good, all the colors. Kamala knows who Nick Fury is, which made me go, how do you know if he's like this greatest spy, but then he's also the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., so maybe he's the face of the organization, so she would know who he is? That was a question, but other than that, good trailer, and will result, it will be a benefit that trailer came out that way to the box office results. It didn't hurt this movie at all. Captain Marvel 2, they should have called it that, and then there's still time, but Captain Marvel 2 had a good trailer.
I saw a Marvel's trailer. I didn't see a Captain Marvel 2 trailer.
See, that's the thing. They mistakenly called Captain Marvel 2 The Marvels, and I'm doing them a service of telling them you should call it Captain Marvel 2. And I only refer to it as Captain Marvel 2 because I know that superhero, Carol Danvers, that superhero is deserving of a second movie with her name in the title. It does benefits to women superhero in general by saying that just like Iron Man and just like other movies that get sequels with their names in them, she's just that important, rather than de-emphasize her importance by saying her second movie is called The Marvels and she's not worthy of having a second movie. Because Chillmonger's progressive, as we established earlier in this live stream, and what we're not going to do is be we together, me and you, Team Progressive. And
again, referring back to our earlier discussion.
That's the top row, right? Team Progressive is up there.
Mm-hmm.
They realized that.
How are you making it look so easy?
Oh no, Kamala, it's just a way of life.
Yeah, they realized it's not going to sell. That's why they changed the name.
I don't think that trailer was aimed towards my particular demographic.
I'm sorry, what?
Male?
Not for me.
Not for you? Okay.
Male,
I'm
old.
there. I'm there too.
You're not a male. I don't know how old you are, Felicity, but
No. It's obviously they're trying to bring kids in. Younger women is
they're
is
marketing
what
to
they're
a
aiming
different demographic other than the people that buy the comic books. I mean, the people that buy the comic books are the same demographic that are currently watching wrestling, which is 45 and up. Yeah. And they're trying to market towards the younger audience. I don't know how well it's working out, but they do need to start building on that younger fan base, which is why they're transferring or transitioning, rather, to the younger characters to take the place of the people that are getting old and fat and whatever.
That's the first thing you said that wasn't batshit crazy.
Live chats are livening up. They're listening to Chillmonger. No, they're not. We got forget that there was a trailer for it. You forgot? Go watch it. Don't you tell me to smile.
Which is oddly enough, which is funny because in this trailer she smiles more. She smiles
but the lyrics of the song, that was pretty smart. And I'm so on board with this smile stuff because when that, like years ago, 2019, people were saying, well, Carol doesn't smile. This is a bad movie. This is going to be a bad movie. She's not smiling. And like Brie Larson, yes, fine. I know Kate-O's going to tell me that they marketed it wrong. But Brie Larson, she was a little bit combative with that side of the fan base. And she made fun of the whole smile stuff. And
oh, no, I thought, hey, look, chill. Even though I did call her out for a lot of stuff during time, I thought the people calling her out for not smiling was the ridiculous, like, as far as her marketing. Mm-hmm. People criticize. It was just like it was like just an extra thing for them. Like, all right, let's just throw some more salt on the wound. I mean, the way she marketed at first, I thought was she was doing too much, bringing too much social stuff into it. Like, just market your movie. Just stop. We don't need to know how much you hate white dudes, even though you're white too. Whatever. Like, okay.
Do not say that.
Well, you got to remember that she did grow up Disney, or at least one of them child actress types. So she's had she's dipped her toe in this type of production before. So when she stepped out of that shadow, like they all try to do, instead of becoming one of these sex pot type chicks,
Vanessa Hudgens.
She went in a different direction and got serious with her roles, and that's something that's really hard to step away from once you reach a certain level of notoriety. So to come back in and, basically you go full circle and you're back in a Disney kids film again, essentially. And, it's kind of hard for her to take that situation seriously, I believe.
Flash over the Marvels. Yeah.
Yep. Flash over the Marvels.
Yeah, I got it. Good thing they're not competing.
You mean the Batman movie over the Marvels?
I think the Flash will choke it down.
I appreciate the Marvels not
spoiling. Actually, they do spoil something in the trailer.
I would ask you, but I don't want Perp for it to be spoiled, so I'm not going to ask you. I've seen it, just was forgettable. Oh, you've seen it, it's just forgettable. Whatever. William, I think they're already shipped Carol and Maria. Well, Maria,
they've shipped everybody.
Every time I listen to Theo talk about that first movie, where is Frank Rambo? Where is that? And why further the stereotype or enforce the stereotype that is a missing black father from a family. The first comic that's ever appeared with Monica also had her dad showing up there too. This is a character with a dad. It was wrong of them to, and they can't be that progressive and that forward thinking and that pro diversity if you don't do that, or you're not thinking right. Again, they misunderstand the issue when it comes to diversity and inclusion. They don't know why it's important. They just think we're doing this. I just dropped my mouse. We're doing this, we're doing that, and we're doing that. We're accomplishing diversity. Yay us. That's them.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
once you take too many lefts, you wind up going in reverse.
That's deep. I like that. Yeah. Once you take
Well, it's not you go in reverse, you go in a circle and you go back to your original starting point.
No, I like
3
his
lefts
better.
or a U-turn.
And 2 wrongs make no. 3 lefts make a
Or
right.
a U-turn.
Yeah.
2 wrongs.
How do you do U-turns, Rosales?
You know, only way
By
to
the
U-turn
block.
in the U.S., most people U-turn from the left.
Why do you think that's different from us? We drive on the same side of the road as you.
You guys are Canadians.
Yeah, but we don't shoot anybody when we cut somebody off. There's a difference.
Look, that's just a courtesy.
Guns are not available in every city to everybody. Just here in
That is
Texas.
a courtesy. It's how we say hi. You know, that's how you say hello.
How
Come
you
on.
want to play it? Go right ahead.
If you grew up in America, you guys understand. You know, when we shoot somebody else, it's just a way of saying hello. It's alarming, but that's the point of it.
You've heard the saying, you show me your gun, I'll show you mine.
Oh, yeah, they do
So,
say that.
you know.
Here's maple syrup. What if the father is Blue
Don't
Marvel?
show me maple syrup.
What if her dad is Adam Brashear Blue Marvel? Then it would be different from the comics, and I prefer accuracy. Like Ms. Marvel's powers not being accurate. It's crazy. I can't believe-
I'll watch an MCU movie then.
But that's way too wild. Like the MODOK origin also was a little bit different from.
Yeah.
But MODOK wasn't too important. He's not even a superhero. Whatever, you can change that.
But
I
making
guess.
MODOK Darren Cross. No.
Yeah, but this would be worse if Adam Brashear was Blue Marvel. Yeah, it would kill the entire reason for Adam Brashear, and they wouldn't.
That's like it's like if you made, you know, Wonder Woman the mother of John Kent.
That'd be
Lois was the
strange.
mother.
Uh-huh.
It's like I get it. You want to do some different, but not that different. You can change other
Wonder Woman
things.
has a daughter named Trinity.
Yeah, do that. They do that, DC, and she have Wonder Woman.
I don't think that daughter's gonna last long. Okay.
Better be putting.
Wait, isn't this like her 4th or 3rd daughter or something she's had ever since she debuted?
Why do people call you K dots? Like there's not an apostrophe there. He's K dot, and then it's his sanctum on his you see his name there, guys? It says SSJK dots.
Yeah, but nobody wants to put in the apostrophe. It's extra work. They don't even
It's hard
put
to
the
do on a
hyphen.
telephone.
They don't even put
Wait,
the
from
hyphen.
the man that wants us
point.
to call Captain Marvel 2, call the Marvels Captain Marvel 2?
Exactly, precisely.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
good.
That's what
good.
they should have named it,
Good
For All the
understand that.
Marvels.
No, because there's already a comic series called The Marvels.
It's got nothing to do with these 3 heroes.
No, right? No, it's oh shoot, I forget the name of the artist, but it's all like
Kurt
flashbacks
Busiek.
of no.
We could find out, but who cares? Question number 31. Will there be plans for Hercules announced at Comic-Con? Thor Love and Thunder came out back in July, back when we didn't actually have a Comic-Con. Comic-Con already came out a month prior to that. So Love and Thunder comes out. We see Hercules end credit scene. Okay. So we're going to find out what he'll be doing at this year's Comic-Con, right? The actor's going to be there. He's
That was
gonna
such an underwhelming Hercules.
Exactly. And that's why there will be no plans. I don't see it happening. Nope. Felicity, you think there's going to be Hercules at Comic-Con?
We're in the middle of a writer strike. They wouldn't have had time to write anything at this point. So I say don't even waste time announcing stuff that, you don't have any set plans for.
Skip Comic-Con?
No, just don't announce, things that you don't have anything done for at all.
Why? It worked for DC.
You mean the
Right,
prior
K-Dot?
iteration of DC?
Yeah, but right, K-Dot? DC loves announcing movies and projects that they never end up doing anyway, right?
Hercules
So
is going to be
DC
a
can do it.
moron.
Why can't Marvel?
Just like Adam Warlock.
Yeah, Marvel should start doing that so I can see their downfall.
Oh, God. See,
Well,
yeah, he's doing what you wanted.
You've already seen DC, so you might as well see what Marvel's downfall looks like. Okay.
Rosales, will there be plans for Hercules at Comic-Con?
No, they got no writers. It was a flat attempt, kind of like a backwards attempt. Sitcoms used to do these backdoor pilots where somebody would go visit a friend somewhere else, and then there'd be this whole adventure by some other characters. And that's essentially what this is. At the end of that, they threw the Hercules in there. They threw the whole idea with Zeus, and if it popped off, yeah, we'll move forward on it. If it doesn't pop off like it didn't, they're not going to do anything with it. Even if they did have plans for it, Felicity's right. Without any writers, they're not going to announce anything. At most, they might announce that they're going to start exploring AI-written scripts, which will try to force the hand of the writers to come in. So, other than that, no, I don't think so.
Plus, why would you spend something off from something that essentially flopped? Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't think they made a whole lot of money off of that movie, if any at all.
I don't know. I just viewed Hercules the same way as how they did Star Fox, Thanos' brother that they had.
Star Fox. And the same thing they did with, Adam Warlock. It was just a cameo, and then 6 years later he's in a movie. So it's like,
Yes,
I don't think
exactly.
they have. I don't think they introduced Hercules because there's going to be a Hercules movie, just like they didn't introduce Adam Warlock because hey, there's going to be an Adam Warlock movie in like a couple of years. It was just a cameo thing, and maybe he'll be so that way when he's introduced in the movie and he's got more of a role in it, people are going to go, oh yeah, Hercules, the guy from Thor: Love and Thunder.
I think that the Adam Warlock thing is a little bit different, though, because I think Gunn wanted to actually do more with him. He only threw him in at the end because he knew he was done at Marvel, and that's why he looked so out of place in the movie.
Was that Riri with a lightsaber?
It sure was. And if you read issue 596 of Invincible Iron Man, you'll understand why. Well, I was waiting for the. Oh boy, I gotta get there.
Yeah,
I numbered the wrong comic. It wasn't 596. I just made up a number. So look, he says it's just like All in the Family and the Jeffersons. Is that a spin-off thing, Rosales?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
So what you said when you said that, I thought of That's So Raven, the episode where who's the girl who dances for Missy Elliott videos? There's one episode of That's So Raven which just featured her, Allison Stone. Yeah, for young people, that's what he's talking about. Those spin-off.
You know
episodes.
too much about preteen TV.
Well, he likes the Disney Plus shows.
No, it's not because I watched it on Disney Plus. I was actually like at the age of watching That's So Raven during that time.
Sorry, the Disney TV show. Sorry.
Okay. Let's see here. We're at question number 32, and question number 32 is it's empty. There's no. Oh.
How the hell does Drax know the language that the kids know when even Mantis goes, it's a language my translator can't pick up?
How the hell does Drax know the language of Meep Meep when even Mantis couldn't?
It is so embarrassing watching myself on a video.
You got a problem with that?
Yes, I do. It's just, now I understand why actors don't watch their own movies. It's just weird.
Well, okay, if we're under the impression that that a language was created by what's his name?
It's a screw up. It's a screw up. They screwed up, which is why is it that Gamora goes, why didn't you tell us that you knew the language? Well, why didn't you ask? No. Gamora should have gone, how the hell did you know that language?
You mean Nebula?
Nebula should have gone, how do you know that language? You want to know why they didn't answer it?
Why?
Because the writers have no goddamn clue how. They can't justify it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that a language that the High Evolutionary created for that species? Because everything the High Evolutionary creates is already based on something else. He's just twisting it. So the language had to have existed before, unless he made the original language. for
I've
this
given my
species
age
that
a
he
lot.
just evolved.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Okay, just say they screwed up.
I think that this might
I
have
wouldn't think
been
they
a
screwed up. We
joke.
just don't know, like,
And
if
then
he
how
knows
would
the
you? Okay,
language
so
or
how?
not.
So let's say the high evolutionary and taught him that language. How does
Yeah.
Drax know it?
Okay, and if that's the case, then you're right.
Okay,
He learned
let's
it.
say the high evolutionary didn't teach them and they created them themselves. How
Drax
does
had a
Drax know it?
daughter. Drax's daughter was in communication with someone of that language, and then all the play dates with Drax's daughter, he picked up the language. That's how.
You do realize that those creatures were created after those kids are
The language
experiment
was not created.
91.
That's an
Those
old
kids
language.
are experiment
Those-
91.
So
those
if the
kids-
know.
experiment
Yeah,
91 was
those kids are
speaking
evolved
regular
from something
English,
else. Those kids are
His
evolved
daughter
from something
died
else.
years ago. His daughter died years ago. His daughter died before experiment 91 even came into existence.
You know,
it's not that deep. It's not that deep.
It's not. It's just stupid.
I have to side with Jaded. It's lazy writing.
Like I said, you can have an AI write a script and you wouldn't notice the difference.
Excuse me, progressive fanboy.
Oh, please, will you stop?
yeah,
Okay, that's it. I'm changing it now. I'm changing it.
yes, the
I
progressive.
think
fan.
it was. I think it was just a joke. You know, and I think Gunn was trying to, you know, kind of poke at us a little bit and say, yeah, I know that this is a guy that everybody thinks is stupid, but you know, he's actually bringing something to the table. I think that's all that it was. I don't
And the
think it
fact
was
that-
meant to be looked at any more deeply than that.
It was because of Nebula's little tirade. The movie had to try to come up with something to make Drax feel useful. So they made up something that he couldn't possibly do or possibly know to give him some level of relevance to counter Nebula's tirade. And that was an incredibly ridiculous, forced, plot armored solution.
It worked though. It made the audience laugh.
The New
Hey,
Jersey
don't
audience.
get
laughed.
me started. Don't get me started on the audience because that's a whole other tirade.
I think that the line or the Dave Bautista interview where he said, "I'm playing an idiot," and then in the actual movie they say that you're an idiot and he's stupid and stuff, and Mantis knows he's dumb. I can see why Dave Bautista said that. At first, I'm like, that's pretty wrong of a line for him to say, but no, he literally says that or they treat him that way in the movie. So I don't look at Bautista anymore as some guy who wasn't playing ball or being more. He's less bad to the studio because they actually do treat him like that in the movie now.
But again, they didn't treat him like he was stupid in the first movie. The whole point was that he took things literally. That was the hook, right? Because he goes, I forget what line he was, but then it was
but that's where it shows a part of him is kind of.
he's slow. He's not the smartest guy. I understand.
Yeah, I don't think
that.
but like he ain't.
He wasn't.
He was never really
stupid.
that intelligent.
He thought if he stood still long enough, that nobody would see him, that he would be invisible. So yeah, I
That's
think
just
he is
hilarious.
a little bit
That's
stupid.
just hilarious.
But that was the second movie. That wasn't the first.
I mean, he's literally a meathead.
Well, yeah,
It would not go over my head. I am too quick. I would catch it.
I would catch it.
Mm-hmm. Don't call me a thesaurus. That shit was funny as hell. Like,
yeah.
But the point is that it's still lazy writing. It's still lazy writing. Even if nobody asked him, and literally if you didn't ask him, he wouldn't tell you something because he's a literal person. It's still lazy writing that he would know this ancient language known only to creatures captured by the high evolutionary.
Anybody else on the language? No.
I just don't think it's that big a deal. It's really not.
Drax is a dullard. That sounds like a British insult.
Yeah.
You're a dullard. You're rubbish. Off with his head. He learned it from traveling the galaxy trying to find out.
Learned it from traveling the galaxy.
Why did only he?
I mean, we can't forget Drax has been like alive for.
He was in prison. He was in prison after he tried to kill Ronan.
No, but he had a wife, family, all that.
And he stayed at home.
So he had a celly who spoke the language. There.
But we don't know how long he was.
Bunky.
We don't know how long he was in prison when he was in prison. He could have been there that could have been his first week in the jail.
I mean, you could probably
He
just
had a
go on
life
Twitter and ask James
before.
Gunn, and he'll probably tell you
James
what the
Gunn
reasoning behind it
doesn't
is.
know.
I'll give him a link, StreamYard link to the stream, see what happens. Or they'll be like,
That's
"Oh, Chillmonger's
crazy.
blacklisted." You think I'm blacklisted? I don't think I'm big enough to be blacklisted.
Ooh. Nobody saw him when he was learning it because he was invisible.
Yeah, because he was standing still when he learned the language.
Drax's wife was one of the creations he made, and she taught him. You see, it's not that hard, guys. Think about this. Think it through. There you go. Time travel.
Time travel.
It's just like being questioned by the cops. Never volunteer information to be used against you later.
That has nothing to do with him knowing the language.
He was invisible, though. Maybe Drax.
Why can't he just? Why can't he just know the language?
Why would he know a language? Why would he know a language that Mantis's translator, Mantis's universal translator doesn't know this
her
language.
universal translator thingy is only because of what Ego provided. Ego doesn't know everything, but Drax knew something Ego didn't. Just because
still a universal translator.
A universal translator needs to be programmed with every language. I have a universal remote, but if somebody invents a brand new TV this year, that universal remote's not going to be able to go with it.
Why would Ego program the language of the Sovereign into a universal translator? No reason. But apparently,
because
she's able to understand. She's able to understand the Sovereign.
Yeah, he had it, so he programmed it.
Okay.
It's like 3PO is.
If he had the language of the kids, so if he had the language of the kids, you would have programmed it then. So even Ego doesn't know the language of the kids, but Drax
It's hard
does.
to believe. It's a big galaxy. There's some language that he's not going to know about.
Oh my God!
Ego doesn't know everything.
It's a big galaxy.
Jaded, as the queen of the nitpick, I get it, but I really do think it was James Gunn poking at us and saying, "Hey, he finally knows something that somebody else doesn't know." I think
I agree.
really
It's just a gag.
I understand that, Felicity, but
it's a poorly written gag.
It's a poorly written. It's a poorly written thing. You could have done
add that on the pile of poorly written stuff in the MCU. Add it on the pile.
Unless if you really think about it, like Jaded is thinking about it like that deeply, then yeah, it's a poorly. Like me, I don't think it worked. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that's funny.
Again,
okay,
like the couch. No, like Perp. It's like the couch bit, right? I get the couch bit, right? But it was. I still got it. It was silly. It was dumb, but it was still funny. But it wasn't. It's not that they made it so that there's no reason for him to sit on a couch.
Weren't those people bats? They were like a cross between the bat, right? Like a nitpick would be like, oh, why do they need sofas? Shouldn't they just be on the ceiling?
Why would they need sofas? I don't care about that. That's not a point. I don't have a problem with that. But when you're saying it's for a joke, I get it with him constantly lying down on, the car bit. The bit with Nebula getting into the car, right? That was funny, but it didn't require, plot armor or just a Deus Ex Machina. That's all.
It's something they should have put earlier in the script to make allowances for it later on. Even if the rest of the cast didn't see it, and it was something Drax did all by himself. That way it's not that big of a leap. And you get to be in on the joke as well, as opposed to saying, well, I've solved this mystery because I saw a few things that none of the audience saw.
You need the jaded to keep the non-jaded on their toes and to question things.
I
Next
agree with
question.
that.
No, we disagree. What do you take away from the post-credit scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 3? The final thing we got was the legendary Star-Lord will return.
Variant.
Really? I got it that he was gonna, I thought that basis was that he's going to be in Secret Wars, or he's going to be
that's all.
Either Secret Wars or Secret Invasion.
Yeah, I didn't get that because they don't think things through. I got Chris Pratt is still on good terms with them. That's what I got. Where he'll return, he probably didn't even sign where he'll return, but he's back. So you guys are saying Secret Wars, Secret Invasion? Who knows? He may die in 10 guys.
Well, the reason I say that is because he's specifically back on Earth, right? It's
where
not
a whole
like,
bunch of Marvel shows happen, and he's not going to be featured in any of them.
Oh, I agree. But I'm saying I thought the fact that because he was specifically went back to Earth and Secret Invasion takes place on Earth and Secret Wars is going to grab, the superheroes from Earth, that's why they introduced him into.
Yeah,
They're going to give us a what if Star Lord. Like they had T'Challa in What If be Star Lord. They're just gonna do that.
But I like that they call him the legendary because, like, like that goes back to the first one. He's like, the legendary Star Lord, and like who? That whole scene in the
the
beginning and stuff.
continuity
Yeah,
of completing something. He's actually accomplished it. He's legendary now. All right.
I like the idea.
I
of
give
him
him
coming
that. Sure.
back. I like the idea of a what if Star Lord that is the legendary Star Lord, but I think they'll probably make him a whole lot younger and green because he's an alternate universe Star Lord who happens to be the son of the original Star Lord and one of the alternate. What is her name? Not Nebula, the other one.
Gamora.
Gamora, yeah. That way they can have a younger version, a green version, and something new.
Who was that kid they was talking about? Is that like a specific comic character or anything?
Phyla-Vell?
Yeah, at the end, remember his dad was telling about some kid, like the kid, he doesn't listen and stuff.
I don't know.
They was talking about some kid. I was
when he was reading the newspaper. When he was having breakfast.
Yeah, they was talking about some.
Yeah, I didn't catch it because I was reading the newspaper and I saw the Kevin Bacon reference, so I didn't even hear what he said.
I mean, the only thing I thought maybe Star-Lord will be involved in some more of the Earth stories up until Secret Wars. I doubt he will, but hopefully, I mean, he pops up just to help out.
I say the whole cast is gone, and they're recasting or reimagining those characters because since James Gunn has his own thing over at the DCU now, they're probably all going to go over there.
Yep, more than likely.
Yeah, well, there is still the Guardians. I mean, they have Rocket's team.
They'll just call it the New Guardians, I think. If they ever do another,
Guardians?
I think that's what they go with.
Well, so the Guardians of the Galaxy is ended, but the New Guardians is going to be. Oh, that's a little loophole. I get it.
I don't know. You got another problem there, Jade Fanboy?
No, I thought that's a good idea. No, it's like a little loophole. It's like, yeah, this is the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but then they'll have Rocket, Groot,
Adam Warlock,
and I forget who else. One of the kids.
That was fine.
They're the New Guardians, and I go, okay, that works. I get that.
But one of them will return. I don't know about Dave Bautista, but I'm sure the Mantis will return. Palm, Clement, Tiaf. I'm sure they've got no rough feelings. Nebula was part of the that scene, wasn't she? No, she wasn't.
Nebula was with her. Nebula ended up leaving.
She left. So, like the Karen Gillan, depends how good her career goes, what happens. But
she's staying in nowhere. So Nebula's in nowhere, and Mantis straight up left somewhere with her little animals and stuff.
Yeah, she went to go.
She'll probably come back. I think a majority of those characters are going to come back for Secret Wars.
You agree with that one, Jaded Comics?
It's going to be a crossover movie when they come back.
Yeah. And the last question of 33, that was actually the post-credit scene. So yeah, that's the stream, everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm Jaded Fanboy. He's Jaded Fanboy.
Everybody's Jaded Fanboy today.
We're all jaded.
Let me read one last comment from Trinity. Nebula and Drax being foster parents.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be the Revengers. Like, comment, subscribe. Who has something to promote? Talk to the people while we're still here. There are 18 viewers. And what do they need to know about your channels?
I have nothing to promote. All I know is content.
So then why not speak and then let someone who does have something to promote speak? Wouldn't that have made more sense? I have nothing, but look at me, I'm perp. I'm a center of attention.
Well, over
all right,
my
since I have the
please
go ahead, Rosales.
No, please go ahead.
Since you're giving me the opportunity, promote my my places where you can find me. Fan Shop First with Abby Kays. I have a channel with Nikki called The Salty Inferno. And on Monday, I'll be on the Nerd Enthusiasts with all those guys.
The Nerd Enthusiast? Do I know who that is? Should I know who that is?
Yeah, you know Quentin, right?
Yeah,
Quentin and Scotty.
I know them.
Yeah, yeah.
Whose channel is it on?
Well, it was Quentin's channel, but now it's kind of gotten absorbed by God. He's got so many names, and I can't think of one of them right now. Nerd Mafia.
Hold on, names are aliases.
Aliases.
Aliases. You're correct.
Well-
Nerd Mafia.
I'm not gonna insult anyone over a name. Clearly, it's Chillmonger. Right?
You can go ahead.
Not my real name.
Rosales.
Okay. Yeah, Rosales Comics, please.
Yes, this Sunday, May 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Pacific, and 6 p.m. GST. We will be talking on the Super Sunday wrap-up. We'll be talking about Crypto the Superdog, Guardians of the Galaxy, Jonathan Major's update. We will also be talking about Sheridan and playing a game of Lightning Round. We invite you all to join the conversation on Twitch and YouTube.
Woohoo! Welcome
I
to
would-
Team DC, Chillmonger. I am on Team DC. I'm
I would
optimistic.
Definitely like to have each and every one of you guys here on this panel, on our panel at some point in time. So feel free to reach out and we'll have
Yeah,
you on.
because it's a weekly Sunday show. It happens all the time, and you should definitely be on Rosales Comics to hear what people like. Jaded Fanboy, you've not been on that, but K-Dot's been on that. I've been on that, and it's a whole bunch of people you may know or may not know. That's the good thing about networking, right? Like, I don't think I ever talked to Nerd Mafia ever in my life, but through Felicity, I'm one step closer to him. And then I found out about Kitty through I almost called you Jaded because your name says Jaded there, but. Oh, and Miss 1776. Who else do I know? I've been knowing Warren. Talked to Nate. Got an opportunity to talk to him. Networking and stuff. That's what this is about, peeps. I like that, Trinity. I like your glasses. Whose glasses? Oh, Felicity's glasses? Cool.
Very stylish.
It's a picture.
Here we go.
Jaded, we'd love to have you on Sunday. I know it's kind of early and you haven't had your fifth of bourbon yet, but if you can get up that early, we would love to have you, sober or not.
It's your funeral.
We'll see you guys Sunday. Ciao.
Peace.
Peace.